Howdy folks, greetings of the season. This is Yesterday Today. I'm Jake Westbrook, your genial Merry Christmas loving host, and this is my genial Merry Christmas loving co-host McLean, who has just finished putting the finishing touches on the Christmas tree we put up here in the studio.
Yeah, the tree put up quite the fight, but we managed to wrangle it, subdue it, and tie it up with tinsel and adorn it with silver and gold. Silver and gold.
Fa la 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 la. Do you think the halls around here are sufficiently decked, McLean?
The halls are very thoroughly decked. I haven't seen halls this decked since, last Christmas. So, it's been a while.
And last Christmas, McLean, I gave you my heart. And the very next day, you gave it away.
And
so
we're
this
entered
year,
into bad bit territory. You want to start over? Or?
I'm gonna leave that in. I think that's a quality bit. But no, folks. Seriously, seems like the holiday spirit is alive and well here at the studio, and things are going pretty well. And I'm pretty excited to bring you some Christmas-themed old-time radio today. It's gonna be a grand old time. Hope you'll enjoy it as much as we do. It's really the most comfortable time of the year, cozy, if you will. So light a fire in the fireplace, get a mug of hot chocolate. It's gonna be a good old time. Okay, there's a knock on the door, as there usually is.
Record time, I think.
Please tell me it's not Sydney.
I cannot promise you that, but hopefully.
Maybe if I concentrate real hard, I can block him out of existence. Oh, hey there.
Good news, not Sydney. Bad news, it is Mondo.
Okay, alright. Mondo, what do you want?
So, me was performing the security sweep for the building, and me found this very suspicious-looking Santa Claus outside. He's got the beard and the red hat and the little elf guy with him.
Mondo, you big idiot, let go of me. You know it's me. I'm just happening to wear a holiday-style disguise. Come on,
me really don't remember Santa Claus talking like this, because, me visits him often about the North Pole every year, and from what me can recall, he don't sound like this, so I think you need to question him
and
ask him...
I'm not actual Santa Claus. I'm playing the...
Shut up, impersonator!
You boys...
Shut up!
All right. Put the old melon basher down, for goodness sake.
So he needs to be investigated for his crime against Santa and the impersonation thereof, and the little kid with him. So we will leave him in your hands. Contact the police if you must, but the integrity of the name of Santa Claus must be protected at all costs. So we hope that you will do what is right in this situation. Okay, we going back on patrol.
Mondo's the real hero.
Call me a little kid. I'm only a little kid in the eyes of the DMV.
Howdy, boys. Long time no see, I suppose. For being the security fella for this building, your boy Mondo, he ranges a long dang way. I'm about 20 miles away from here at the department store. And he comes all the way down there, picks me up, and takes me back here to the recording studio. What's going on?
Yeah, Mondo doesn't really have a good sense of boundaries, so we kind of just let him roam wherever he wants.
He's enthusiastic about his job, but boundaries haven't quite.
More to the point, Billy, why are you dressed as Santa and an elf?
Oh, well, that's for my holiday service to, downtrodden Americans having a real tough time. See, you'll notice I've got myself a real official-looking costume here. Eh? See, take a peek. Got good fabric here.
Yeah.
Good sewing job under the neck. Got a beard.
Standard Santa Claus get-up.
Yeah, real sheep's wool here. So I did myself a gig over at the Mall of Americas as a mall Santa. Only lasted about a day, but got to keep the uniform. So I've been down there at the old department store.
Dare I ask why you only lasted a day, or?
Well, let's just say that kids these days, their pants pockets are real tiny, and when you try to get the wallet out or that loose change out of there, it's real easy to feel it. Plus, half the pockets just had melted Twix, and that didn't taste too good. Anyway, didn't turn out too well for me down there.
Yeah, plus the parents got real mad and started wailing on us.
Yeah, Billy can't make so much of a good getaway ever since the leg cancer really took on him.
Wait, leg cancer? I thought he just had a broken leg.
Yeah, well, he's got a broken leg, and he's also got the leg cancer.
A real double whammy there.
Hey, these times are about helping those who are less fortunate than yourself, so give me your wallet, please.
Yeah, see, you gotta feel the Christmas spirit, and also feel your wallet opening up, and then releasing the funds.
Look at me, I'm a starving child with leg cancer. You know, it's the holiday spirit, and I'm a sick, starving child with leg cancer. What's my line again?
Oh, here, hang on. Here. Gotta memorize this, boy.
And Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
Now skip ahead to the money giving part. It's right down there, line 3.
Yeah. And we at the Salvation Army...
No. Salvation. You gotta pronounce it different.
No, it's salvation.
Now,
this is
okay, the
Spanish,
real
dude.
one is salvation. We ain't them.
We speak... Yeah, but,
okay.
But we're boosting our credibility
listen,
by
we can't say Salvation Army. That's a legitimate... Well, I mean, that's a different organization. We're the Salvation Army. It's the Ecuadorian battalion.
Nobody ever actually identifies the Salvation Army workers. Nobody cares.
Guys, are you guys pretending to be the Salvation Army to swindle money out of people?
No. There's no pretending. Yeah. Well, what are you coming in here acting like you don't swindle? You're in radio.
I pretend to be the Salvation Army. You pretend to be a funny man, all
yes.
right?
Now, it's the Salvation Army based in Honduras, all right? So it's a totally different creature. So I get down there, I ring a bell. Folks always come to the bell. And then I got my bucket. Now, it ain't quite a bucket. It's because you can't just use any old pail. It's got to be red. So I got myself one of them buckets off them lifting things off the local fire truck.
Wait a minute.
Well, it's a bucket. You got to lift up on a big old metal arm, and it takes you up into the building and all that. Well, I got one of those. It's pretty big. But you can fit lots of money in there.
Did you steal a fire truck, Willie?
See, y'all got these funny ideas about theft and property and ownership. Does anybody really own anything? Plus, taxpayer dollars were stolen from the American people to pay for them fire trucks. Nobody asked for it.
Come to think of it, the Native Americans had no concept of land ownership, really, if you think about it. What's yours is mine, and what's mine is mine.
Native Americans ain't got no fire trucks. They didn't have none in the early days of America, huh? Before 1700s. So, where are them fire trucks?
Jake, I think I'm going to retire from this show.
Where are them Apache fire trucks?
I think it's, we had a good run, but...
McLean, I have you under a tight contract. You are not bailing on this without me here.
You can bail, too.
That's an intriguing option. But I will hold off on that thought for now because I have to present the first show for today, which is an episode of Yours Truly, Johnny Dollar, and the Carmen Kringle matter. So here's that, and
Wait a minute, there's a man named after dollars? Just like the money?
Yes, Billy. Yes, just like the money.
That's so good.
Johnny Dollar.
Pat McCracken, Johnny. How's the weather in Palm Springs?
A blonde in a bikini just melted past my poolside window. Goodbye now.
Oh, don't hang up. Johnny, this job's just a few miles north of where you are. It'll take maybe a day to clear it up.
Yeah, you said that last Christmas, Pat, and I got trapped in a blizzard. This season I soak in the sun. Happy New Year.
John boy, we have a bonus list in this office. Your name could be on it.
Near where I am, huh?
It's a ghost town named Calico. An old prospector named Kringle is breathing his last up there.
I thought all prospectors never died.
He wants to change the beneficiary on his $50,000 policy, but a nephew, Ned Kringle, threatens suit if we let him. So you contact our agent, Gene Craig, in Barstow.
Who's the new beneficiary?
Carmen Kringle.
Carmen?
A borough.
A borough?
Yeah. If I don't hear from you, Johnny, Merry Christmas.
Bob Bailey in the exciting adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account. America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
And now, Act One of Yours Truly, Johnny Dollar.
Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the Home Office, Universal Adjustment Bureau, Hartford, Connecticut. Following is an account of expenses incurred during my investigation of the Carmen Kringle matter. Expense account item 1, $1.40. Telegram to Gene Craig in Barstow telling him where and when to meet me. Item 2, $50 even to Al Sterner for his charter plane to the ghost town of Calico. The guidebook says there's something about desert country that's good for the soul. And in spite of the air bumps, I got a panoramic view of the Great Mojave that took my breath away. The sun's setting rays hit the weird mineral straters of the Calico Range and turned them into a patchwork of beauty. Night comes quickly in this country, and I turned to well when a Christmas tree cluster of blinking lights appeared under our wings. By way of answer, he put the plane into a glide and set us down on the smooth surface of a dry lake bed.
Johnny, you want me to wait around till your friend shows up?
No, thanks. Well, there seems to be plenty of company.
That's just an old coyote. Don't stand too long or you'll freeze to the spot.
Okay.
Good luck. Call me when you want to be picked up.
I watched Al's plane until it was swallowed by the darkness. Then suddenly I got that feeling in the hair on the back of my neck that I wasn't alone. The moon was up enough to make out shadows, and silhouetted in a circle around me was a strange collection of figures. One of the pack moved toward me, and for a crazy second, I thought I bumped into Santa Claus's reindeer. Then a car without lights came rushing at me. The headlights slammed on, and I got a glimpse of a donkey herd scattering into the night.
All right, mister. Walk toward me. Slow, with your hands high.
I've learned never to argue with a Winchester 94, so I followed orders. I spotted the weaving headlamps of another car approaching and prayed it was the agent, Gene Craig.
Close enough, Sonny. I can pop the rattlers off a sidewind at 60 yards, so don't you make no sudden move.
He was maybe 60 with gray sideburns and a frosty goatee. A marshal's badge was pinned to his leather jacket.
All right, now, mister.
Marshal, it's all right. That's Mr. Dollar.
Huh?
I was supposed to meet him earlier. I'm awfully sorry, Mr. Dollar. I'm Jean Craig.
Huh?
I couldn't get here until I drove Doc Spangler up to Chris. He's had another setback, Marshal.
Yeah, some darn fool let down a rail on his corral, and Chris Kringle's whole herd got loose. He don't give a chuck for most of them, though, except Carmen. Now he's fretting because she's running wild. Almost had him tracked down when this here fella showed up. If you vouch for him, huh, Gene?
You are Johnny Dollar, aren't you?
Well, a frozen facsimile.
Come on, I'll drive you into Calico.
You tell Chris that I'll have his Carmen back in the corral before the moon's full. And, Gene,
Yeah, Marshal.
tell the old sourdough to stay alive, will you? We need him around here. Sorry about mistaking you, Mr. Dollar.
Jean Craig, with a J, knew her way around. She was strictly business and filled me in fast on the old prospector with the odd name and his desire to change the beneficiary of his policy.
Everybody calls him Chris because every year he loads up his burros with toys and presents for the miners and their families back in the hills.
Huh?
The kids really think he is Santa Claus. I'm afraid it won't be a very merry one for them this year.
Well, what makes everyone so sure Chris Kringle is giving up the ghost?
Doc Spangler says there's nothing apparently wrong with him. It's more like he's given up.
Oh, what's with this Scrooge character, the nephew?
Ned Kringle seems all right. It's the man with him, Willie D'Agostino. He does the talking for Ned. You'd think he was going to inherit the money.
Well, maybe he's expecting to. You know, you're making a good case for Carmen.
Hannah Burr will be a beneficiary, Johnny.
Chris can leave it to a three-masted schooner if he wants, providing a trust is set up.
Could the people of Calico be that trust if they promise to take care of Carmen?
Yeah, I guess so. Why?
That's the way Chris wants it. That way there'll always be a Christmas in Calico.
What happens when Carmen goes to donkey heaven? Or is it burros that never die?
There'll always be burros in Calico, Johnny. And one of them could always be named Carmen.
Act two of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in a moment. Act two of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and the Carmen Kringle matter.
Well, here we are, Johnny. Calico. Once the richest silver city in the West.
It was unbelievable. Like seeing a page from the past. Walter Knott, famed creator of Knott's Berry Farm and Western historian, had bought the old ghost town's battered remnants and restored it to the way it must have appeared in the wild and fevered days of the Silver Lode. I could make out signs nailed to weathered batten boards that told of a flourishing and colorful past. Joe's Saloon, The Last Chance, Hyena House Hotel, Lane's Mercantile, the Calico Prince. High on a hill at the edge of town, people were gathered at the entrance to a cave that was illuminated by hundreds of miners' lamps.
Kind of gets you, huh?
Almost like it was planned.
You rehearsing for the Christmas Eve pageant. Maybe you can spend Christmas Eve with us, Johnny. You don't have other plans?
I have a day with a steam-heated swimming pool.
What?
Come on. Let's meet the old man. Expense account item 3, $100 for a quart of perfume or a mink scarf, anything to wipe the hurt look off of Jean Craig's face. She led me up the steps to the rickety porch of Kris Kringle's wooden shack. A tall figure carrying a black bag stepped toward us out of the shadows.
Jeannie, I'm glad to see you. Will you drive me back to town?
Why, certainly, Doc. Oh, this is Mr. Dollar.
Hi, son.
Hi.
Chris, is he still all right?
I couldn't say. Been sitting out here waiting for you.
You haven't seen the patient?
The medical man knows the duty and all that, but I'm too old to talk back to a gun.
They wouldn't let you in?
Tired of it.
Well, I'm not a medical man.
Well, please be careful, Johnny.
I told you, Skullbone, stay away and leave the old man. Well, if it ain't little Jeannie, the policy fixer. And who are you, mister?
Willie D'Agostino. This is Johnny Dollar. He's from the insurance company to see about changing the policy.
Who is it, Wooly? Who are you talking
Relax, will you, and let him give us some tourist directions back to Barstow. There'll be no policy changing at this late date, mister. Ned Kringle is very bereaved at the imminence of his uncle's demise. Just family admitted at this sad hour, so mosey along, folks. I'll leave the young man to his grief. Your foot is in the door, mister. I don't like your foot, and I don't like you.
His hand moved to his shoulder holster, but Jean was standing right beside me. It was Doc who suddenly shouldered past D'Agostino and fled up the stairs that gave him my chance. I kicked the door wide, threw him off balance. I shoved Jeannie aside, and that was a mistake because a million Christmas tree lights blazed up in my skull. Then slowly the tree lights faded away, and I saw Jeannie fussing over me and looking worried. A young, nice-looking fellow was seated next to a marble-top table. D'Agostino leaned against the stone fireplace and dangled his gun, smiling like he had a stacked deck.
He's all right, Doc?
A nasty cut, but no fracture.
I know how to pull my punches, Doc.
The old man. How is he?
No better, no worse. Just lying up there staring at the ceiling.
I want to see Chris. I have a right to, Ned. I'm an old friend.
Wooly, wouldn't it be okay if Jean just went up?
No, let him die in peace. He's past carrot hoe season.
Wooly, these people have a right.
I said no.
I'll get a hero boy on his feet and shove off. Go on.
Come on, Johnny. Help me, Doc.
How's it going to feel, Ned? Sharing blood money with a hoodlum. Your uncle paid for that policy with a pick and a shovel. It took a lot of years, a lot of sweat. And he's had your name on that policy ever since you were born.
Old man Kringle never saw pay dirt in his life. Ned had given money to live on, paid the premiums on his policy. Chris was always tapping the kid, claiming he had a new find. He was going to mine $1 million.
Boy, shut up.
The old man's dying. Tell him, Ned. Tell him how the old phony was always taking the bows, making like Santa Claus with the money you give him.
Willie, haven't you got a...
Tell him who owed you the money! I know he's been waiting a long time for this. Me. Willie D'Agostino, that's who.
Is that true, Ned?
Yeah. I thought my uncle would make a strike someday. I honestly thought he'd strike it rich. I know he tried.
He did strike it rich, Ned. When he dies, every man, woman, and child in this town will mourn him. He'll live in their hearts. What will people remember about you, Mr. D'Agostino?
All right, get out and stay out before I...
Willie, this rifle will make a hole in your belly big enough to pass a borax steam through. So you just drop that gun. Well, I don't know what the shouting's about, but you're guilty of carrying sidearms. You're threatening violence, Mr. D'Agostino. And ain't nobody does that in Calico, long as I'm the marshal. Now, you better get.
Ed Dollar, I love you.
So let Gladys hear that.
Well, I'll see how Chris is.
Doc, tell the old buzzard that I got his Carmen back in the corral. Jingle bells and all.
Yeah, nice work, Ed.
Now, what's holding you, mister?
Okay. All right, let's go, Ned. Let the squares have a round, huh?
I'm going to stay here, Willie. I want to be here when Chris...
Hey, that's a good idea. That way, no fooling around with the will, huh? Smart kid, that Ned. See you at the funeral, huh?
I'll go up now.
You were wonderful, Marshal. You too, Johnny.
Oh, yeah, sure. I take a nice sock on the head.
Hey, you folks better come up, too. Chris wants to say something.
One sec. I figured on this. Corral, come on.
D'Agostino must have had another gun in his car. One of the bullets had found the mark he intended. Willie Boy wasn't taking any chances that Carmen Kringle would inherit $50,000. We found the burro lying on her side, quite dead. Jingle bells and all.
Act 3 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, in a moment. Oh, Act 3 of yours truly, Johnny Dollar, and the Carmen Kringle matter.
Oh, Marshal. Johnny, how could he have been so cruel? Carmen dead. It's just not right.
Yeah, I figured D'Agostino might be mean enough to try killing Chris's pet burro.
We can't tell him about it. It would kill him for sure.
He'll have to know the truth, Gene. He'll have to decide about the will.
Yeah, truth is always the best. And easy this time.
Easy?
Huh? Yeah. I'll just take these bells off of this poor little feller, and I'll put them where they belong. Carmen? What? Carmen?
Oh.
Mosey over here now.
Well, you pulled a switch. You put these bells on another boat.
Yeah. I didn't trust that greasy character, and I was right. And nice girl, Carmen.
Well, I'll be.
Now, you folks going up and see old Chris. I'll keep an eye on this here $50,000 jackass. That's the way it's going to be, ain't it, Johnny?
Yes, sir. That's the way it's going to be. But I was wrong. The roly-poly little old man in the four-poster bed with his white whiskers resting on the quilt changed his mind again. Even after hearing about how the marshal saved Carmen.
I wasn't going to scratch Ned's name off of that insurance, Mr. Dollar. I tried to shake that D'Agostino, figuring he'd take his hooks off of Ned if he thought my Carmen was going to get the money. Oh, I was scared for a while that I just might have to up and die to square my nephew's gambling debts.
I'm sorry, Chris. I'll work my fingers raw paying every cent I owe, but I'll pay him back with interest. I want you around.
Okay, Mr. Dollar.
Yeah, Chris.
Lift the lid on that footlocker and fetch me one of them bags in there. They're pretty heavy, but you look strong.
Well, they're sure heavy enough. You got them stuffed with silver?
It's better than silver. Open it up there. Yeah, that's it there. Yes, you recognize that?
Yeah. Maybe you'd better have a good sleep, Chris. This here is plain old gravel.
Oh, plain gravel. It's uranium, Doc, huh? The last batch assayed at $900 a ton. And I got a mountain of it staked out. In both our names, Ned. You don't
say why, Chris.
Mr. Dollar, if you and Jeannie check with the Barstow Bank, you'll find that they'll extend credit on the strength of that assay. You reckon you can spend 2 days buying enough presents so as we won't disappoint the folks hereabouts?
Expense account item 4, $68 even. Telephone calls to 5 principal cities where I thought Willie D'Agostino might be remembered. The police departments had a long list of reasons why they remembered Willie. That was my Christmas present to them. Expense account item 5, another $50. Truck rental to haul the presents we bought for Ned to give away come Christmas morning. And then it was Christmas Eve. We sat on the Kringles' porch and watched the procession up to the Maggie mine. The flickering lights from the miners' lamps reflecting on the faces of the happy children. Old Chris was bundled up in blankets, his little eyes twinkling, chuckling to himself like he knew all the answers to the universe. Jean was there, too.
Kind of nice. Isn't it, Johnny?
Kind of nice. Marshal Ed Noller was one of the wise men in the procession. I recognized the sideburns. And Doc Spangler couldn't hide his height. Oh, he wore an awful beard. Ned Kringle led the burro that carried the Blessed Mother. Yeah, you guessed it. The burro was Carmen Kringle. Expense account total, including return to Palm Springs and incidentals, $229.75. But forget it, Pat. This is the best holiday I ever had. And I was only cold at the start. From all of us to all of you, may this be your very merriest Christmas ever. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
All right, welcome back to Yesterday Today. The mail just came, and Billy went out to grab it for us. Here he comes now.
Let's see. You just checked the mail. Bill, fake credit card, a letter for Pop.
Oh, letter for me?
Wait a minute, guys. Are you sending your mail here now?
Well, you got to have some kind of a physical address in order to get some of the benefits and welfare checks and so on that allows us to keep. Here, let me take a look at that here, boy.
You do not have a physical address. This is not your address.
Well, according to the United States Loan Servicer, I have to actually attend a university to get student loans and be registered for classes, and I also have to have an actual address.
You know, Sydney lives in a tree. Why don't you guys do that?
You guys could find a nice little pine next to Sydney. It's a nice neighborhood. A couple chipmunks moved in last week.
Well, see, the Child Protective Services, when they come to check in on how I'm doing with Billy, they need to have an actual address on file. And plus, his parole officer needs him to have an address, too. Billy, let me get your good switchblade so I can open this thing up. This thing's sealed tighter than a rain barrel.
I'm not giving you my good switchblade. You can have my
give me the one in your
right?
boot there. Oh, let's rip it open. Well, gentlemen. Oh, no, this ain't good. So, this here is an AWOL notice. Says here I done gone AWOL from the Ecuadorian military. Apparently, when I was setting up this whole Salvation Army, I was actually signing up for the Ecuadorian military service, and I've got to report to training, or else they're going to come get me. They're going to extradite me. Oh, no. Billy, you're signed up, too.
Santa Claus joins the army. There's a Hallmark movie in here somewhere, I tell you what.
We got to report to basic training in a week.
Wait a minute, Pops. I think there's some good that can come from this. Have you gotten your signing bonus yet?
Well, of course. I tried to get that signing bonus, but it was in Ecuadorian dollars. It was in funny money.
Why hasn't Santa's little helper seen any of that?
I got to find out where I buried that stuff. It was under a tree. Which tree, though?
Good move. Can't trust the banks these days. You know, they just take your money and invest it like it's theirs.
Yeah, like I gave it to them. Boys, we got to get that money. I got to use that signing bonus money to get me another fake identity. Otherwise, them Ecuadorian military folks are going to come get me and Billy and take us off to basic training.
Now, hold on. That might not be our worst option here. I think we should try having you guys get extradited out of the country.
But I'm only... did I say 12 or 13 on my identification? No, it doesn't matter. I'm not young enough to kill.
And we're a little too independently minded to go about being part of a military institution. No, I can't do this. I can't be wearing no American flag.
Do they still have drummers in the military? I think I could do that.
Okay, guys, can you guys go sort out wherever you hid this money and just leave us alone to do the show? We're trying to do this Christmas thing, and you're talking about, like, the Ecuadorian army, not really part of the show. So if you guys can go off and take care of your own business and leave us alone.
Well, it ain't quite just our own business. See, y'all are kind of stuck up in this too.
Wait, what?
You better tell them, Billy.
How on earth does this relate to me in the slightest?
Go on, son. Tell them the bad news.
When we buried the money, we also buried your identification cards, your Social Security cards. We buried your wallets, a lot of the cash that you keep for safekeeping.
Okay, I'm gonna skip over the usual questions of why and how and skip straight to death threats. I am going to kill you if you do not recover this stuff.
Well, I think that's a good idea. I think this is an amicable solution, And also, I'm pretty sure I buried your landline phone down there. I just thought it looked like it was worth something.
Now, it's going to be a bit of an excavation project. We going to need some hands for this. If y'all got spades, picks, a cat, anything at all, that's going to help.
Why would a cat help? A cat has, 4 legs and paws.
Do you guys remember where you buried it?
Yeah, of course. Billy, lift up your shirt there near the back. That's where we got the map at.
Wait, you tattooed a map on Billy's back?
Well, yeah, his skin ain't going nowhere. See, here, lift it up. So if you go down past the liver spots and the scar that's there, you'll see the map right there, see?
What are all these names tattooed on your back and crossed out?
Oh, yeah, those are all my ex-wives. Oh, I mean foster parents.
Yeah, all right. So here, if you look on this map, this tree, I'm going to jab it real good. This tree right there.
That is a surprisingly detailed map.
Wait a minute, I know where that tree is. For crying out loud. Okay, all right. Okay, let's head out there. Let me play some Fibber McGee and Molly while we head out there. These are 3 contiguous episodes from 1955. I'll play these, and I guess we're going treasure hunting. Merry Christmas? I don't know. Come on, guys.
The plot has been lost.
Put your shirt down, Billy.
It was getting a little warm under there.
Miles Laboratories, makers of Alka-Seltzer, bring you another visit with Fibber McGee and Molly. Again, we invite you to listen to the transcribed adventures of Fibber McGee and Molly. The show is written by Phil Leslie and directed by Max Hutto. This is the kind of day in Wistful Vista that poets write about, because it snowed last night, all night long, and the town looks beautiful under a fluffy blanket of white. Mr. McGee has just been out to get the morning mail, and he, too, is impressed by the scene. For his first words are,
"Holy smoke, what a mess. That ratted snow all over everything."
That's the way it usually falls, all over everything. I think it's beautiful, McGee.
Look at that sidewalk, the whole front yard, snowed under like a Southern Republican. That ratted stuff never falls in the summertime when it could melt and run down the sewer right away. Oh, no, it's got to fall in the wintertime so it can lay there for a week.
And it usually does, too, around our house. Was there any mail?
No, just this note from the mailman.
Note?
Yep, sticking in the mailbox. Says, "Dear Mr. McGee, under postal regulations, no mail will be delivered to your box till the snow is cleared off your sidewalk."
Do you mean to say he plowed through 3 feet of snow up to our front porch and back just to leave a note saying he wouldn't plow through 3 feet of snow up to our front porch just to leave mail?
Yeah, civil service, they call it. Ah!
Well, if they're not going to deliver our mail till we get our sidewalk cleared off, I suppose we'll have to...
Have to let them keep the dad-ratted mail till the weather warms up a little. You said it.
That's not what I was going
You're not getting me out breaking my back with a snow shovel and getting my hands and feet frostbit just to clear a path for the mailman that it looks like it's going to snow again any minute anyhow. No, sir, not me.
Well, if that's the way you feel about it, I suppose...
You betcha. Anybody that goes out in this weather today ought to have their head examined because it's undoubtedly full of ice cubes and ought to be defrosted. I'm not setting foot out of this house today, no matter what happens.
Grocery boy, it's cold out there, kids.
Oh, just set the groceries on the kitchen sink, Mr. Oldtimer.
Yeah, you must be about froze, old-timer. Take off your stocking cap and mittens and earmuffs and sit down and warm up.
I'd love to, Johnny. But I ain't got time. Got a truckload of groceries out there in the alley to deliver, and it's mighty slow going through the snow.
I'll bet it is.
If it wasn't for my girlfriend, Bessie, I couldn't make it today at all.
Bessie, is she helping you?
Sure is, Johnny. She walks down all the alleys ahead of me and tromps the snow down good so as I can drive the truck along behind her. You got mighty good feet for snow tromping, Bessie has.
She certainly must be a good-natured girl.
Yep. Only trouble is, the brakes keep slipping on the dad-blamed truck, and I've run over her 3 times so far. She's getting just a little annoyed about it.
Well, believe me, you sure wouldn't catch me out delivering groceries in this kind of weather, boy. That's silly. Let people come and get their own if they're that hungry.
Oh, I don't...
Hey, did you bring everything we need? How about marshmallows? Did you bring marshmallows?
Marshmallows?
I didn't order any marshmallows, McGee. What made you think of that?
Oh, heck, doggone it. This is hot chocolate weather, Molly. Just the kind of a day to sit right here in the cozy, warm kitchen with a cup of hot chocolate with marshmallows in it.
Oh.
You got any on the truck, old-timer? Maybe somebody else ordered marshmallows and you got some on the truck, you think?
No, I don't think.
Well, run out and take a look, will you? On the truck. I'd go help you look, but it's cold out there. Don't catch me out.
McGee, for heaven's sake of all the silly things.
No, I ain't got a single marshmallow with me, but don't you fret, Sonny. I'll run right back down to the grocery store now, fast as I can run, through 4 foot of snow all the way, get you a little box of marshmallows, and run all the way back here without even stopping to rest.
Yeah? You will?
You know how I'll do that, son?
How?
In a pig's eye, that's how. Marshmallows, I order!
Well, for the... Well, how do you like that?
Personally, I loved it, and you deserved it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have work to do. If you want marshmallows so badly, there's a little candy store just a block from me.
Ah, the heck with it. I'll pour myself some coffee. Don't need marshmallows with coffee, and besides...
McGee!
Uh-oh, this is trouble.
Look what I found in your overcoat pocket.
Oh, dear.
I thought you told me you mailed this package to Aunt Sarah Saturday afternoon.
Well, I was going to, but by the time I got there, the post office was closed, and, well, I thought I'd mail it the first thing this morning, but, well, all that snow out there...
Oh, if this isn't the limit.
Well, gee whiz.
It's her Christmas present, McGee. If this package doesn't go out today, it won't get there till after Christmas. And you know how Aunt Sarah is about Christmas.
I'll say tight.
Now, look. Will you take this package to the post office right this minute?
With all that snow out there?
Or will I have to do it?
No, here, give me it. I'll take care of it. I'll get it in the post office this afternoon, for sure.
Well, if I can depend on you.
You can depend. I'll sit over here by the front window right now and watch. Sooner or later, some dumb friend will come shivering through the snow, and I'll get him to drop it off at the post office, so don't you worry.
It's cold outside, sure, but you could at least go out long enough to clear off the front sidewalk without...
I'll say it's cold. That wind goes through you like a bullet through a stick of butter. Looks like it's going to snow again any minute, too, so there's no use in me...
Well, it's nearly 3 o'clock, and you promised to mail Aunt Sarah's package now before...
Don't you worry. Somebody will come along. Maybe Doc or Les Nelson or... Aha! What did I tell you? I knew somebody'd be chump enough to go out in this weather. Come in.
Oh, for goodness sakes. It's Mr. Wimple. Come in, come in.
Yeah, hi, Wimp. Come on in, boy.
Hello, folks. Ooh, it's cold out there.
Yeah, what are you doing out today, boy? You on the lam?
Oh, no, not exactly. I'm on my way down to the Bonton, Mr. McGee, trying to find a Christmas present for her.
You refer, of course, to...
Sweetie Face, my big old wife. Yes.
Say, how is your wife these days, Mr. Wimple? We haven't seen her lately.
Well, she's been staying home the last week, Mrs. McGee. She's busy with her knitting.
Yeah? What's she knitting?
The bones in her right foot.
Oh, my. Broke her foot? How in the world did she do that?
Oh, she's so impetuous, you know. When she wakes up in the morning, she always screams at me to bring her coffee to her quick.
Yeah?
If I'm not out of bed by the time the echo dies away, she rushes over and kicks me out of bed barefooted.
That's a heck of a way to wake up.
It does get rather monotonous. So last week, I took my other pajamas, filled them with quick-drying cement, and put them in my bed. Then I slept in the garage.
Heavenly days.
Do you know she left the print of her big toe in the concrete seat of those pajamas? In fact, she left the end of her big toe there.
Wow.
But it's healing nicely, thank you.
Well, give her our regards, Mr. Wimple.
Thank you. I'd better get on downtown now and buy her a present.
Yeah, well, swell, Wimp. I'll walk you to the door, boy, and as long as you're going close to the post office, I've got a package here you can mail for me, because I promised Molly that Ah, that was a mighty fine dinner, Mrs. McGee.
Thank you. I'll get it. 79 Wistful Vista, Molly McGee. Oh, hello, Mabel. No, we just finished dinner. Nice of you to call. Yes, isn't it beautiful? Must be 3 feet of snow out there now.
Closer to 4 feet. You can just barely see the handle of the lawnmower sticking up through it.
Tonight? Oh, yes, I'd love to come over and play some cards. Wait till I ask His Royal Highness.
No, Molly, no, not tonight, kiddo. It's too cold. The garage door snowed shut, and besides, we couldn't get out of the driveway. Besides, you heard that wind. And besides, well, my gosh, that snow is nylon top deep, and, well, maybe tomorrow night...
All right, don't panic.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mabel, but you know who was scared of the snow. Oh, you heard him, huh? Isn't that awful?
Tell her hello.
She said tell you to go jump. I'm sorry, Mabel. Look, why don't you call Dr. Gamble? Maybe he'll... Oh? Oh, he does, huh? Well, we'll make it another night. Yeah, bye.
Gee, I hate to be a spoil fun, kiddo, but let's face it. Only a dunce would go out in this weather.
Oh, I don't mind a little.
Just take a listen out here. It started snowing again and... don't that sound awful?
Pretty cold, but we have warm clothes.
Hey, well, what was Mabel Toop saying about Doc Gamble? They asked Doc over too?
No, they were going to, but Mort remembered the doctor's supposed to bowl tonight. Well, I may as well go.
Bowl? Bowl? Tonight? Oh, my gosh, it's Monday night. Tonight, the Elks Club tryouts. Where's my bowling ball?
What?
Hey, never mind, it's upstairs. Hey, get my overcoat, will you? Get my mittens and cap and bowling shoes.
You're not going out in this weather. You said yourself only a dunce would...
It's bowling night. The tryouts for the Elks team. Where's my muffler? Oh, I got it. Me and Doc and Herb and Charlie Crockett.
But McGee.
Whoever wins tonight gets on the team. I'm late. Goodbye.
Put on your coat and hat, Dearie. No, I don't. I mean dunce. Oh, I give up. You look just frozen. Can you get that muffler off, or shall I get an ice pick?
Oh, I can get it off. Dirty rats.
Who? How'd the bowling go? Who won?
Nobody. I'm froze.
Nobody.
I walked all the way down there in the snow, and nobody showed up but me.
What?
Yeah, all phoned the bowling alley. Too cold, they said. Dirty double-crossing.
Go to bed.
Yeah. So long, everybody.
See you tomorrow. Bye.
Miles Laboratories, makers of Alka-Seltzer, bring you another visit with Fibber McGee and Molly. Again, we invite you to listen to the transcribed adventures of Fibber McGee and Molly. The show is written by Phil Leslie and Ralph Goodman and directed by Max Hutto.
Dum da 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 dum da da dum dee da da. Is that you, sweetheart?
That depends on who you're expecting.
Oh, you know you're the only man in my life. To me, you're Clark Gable, Cary Grant, and Bing Crosby all rolled into one.
Boy, that makes me pretty lumpy, don't it?
You're in a mighty happy mood today. Where were you, downtown?
Ah, never you mind, baby.
What are you holding behind your back? McGee, it's a package, all gift wrapped. Oh, aren't you sweet?
Who said it was for you?
Oh, now don't try to fool me. That gold ribbon and those little white bells on top. Let me hold it just a minute.
No, get away now.
Come on.
No, don't reach. There's no fair pinching, poking, or peeking. And remember our agreement, too. You don't look in my closet, and I don't look in yours till Christmas Day.
Well, I wish you wouldn't come in with beautiful packages like that and flaunt them in my face. It isn't fair.
Well, you were the one that yelled, "Is that you, sweetheart?" I was trying to sneak it upstairs to the guest room closet, where I got the millions of other gifts for you put away.
I'll be glad when Christmas gets here.
Well, you just be a good little girl and hang up old Dad's overcoat and muffler. Here, Santa Claus will bring you something nice.
Okay, Daddy.
I'm going upstairs now and put this package away.
Be careful with it. It looks mighty pretty. Oh, say, McGee, when you come down, would you pick up the pine needles around the tree here? I've got to get the laundry ready, and there's an awful lot of needles on the floor.
Okay, kiddo. Sure.
Thanks. Ah, there goes a good lad. Tiptoeing in with another present for me. I sure wish I knew what it is. But if he can wait, I can wait. And I know he can wait because I keep the closet locked with his presents in it, so... Come in. Well, hello, Lester. Come in.
Hi, Miss McGee. Whew, it's kind of cold out there.
Sure feels like Christmas, doesn't it? Sit down. McGee'll be down in a minute. He just went upstairs to put away a Christmas present.
Thank you. I just dropped over to visit a minute and... Say, that sure is a pretty Christmas tree you got there. Real pretty.
McGee picked it out Sunday at a lot.
What kind is it?
Dogwood, I think.
Dogwood?
Yes. It has a nice bark, looks fine out in the yard, but when you get it in the house, it sheds all over the rug.
Dogwood doesn't have neat. Oh, a joke.
Yeah.
Say, that's pretty cute, Miss McGee. Dogwood. Say, it does shed needles pretty bad, doesn't it? It's all over the rug.
Yes, McGee promised to clean them up as soon as he put away a present. McGee! I wonder what's keeping him.
Dogwood. By golly, I'll have to remember that one to tell Sally.
See, what are you getting Sally for Christmas, Lester? Can you tell me something nice, I'll bet, huh?
Oh, I got a wonderful big surprise for her, Miss McGee.
Oh, good.
I didn't want to come out and ask her what she wanted, you know. So what I did, I took to listening to her whenever she'd be talking on the phone, you know, to her girlfriends.
Oh-ho.
Like one day I heard her say to one of her friends, she says, "Do you know Gladys is getting a mink for Christmas? Wouldn't I love a mink," she said.
I can imagine.
And then she said, "Or that beaver of Gloria's. I'd be mighty happy with a beaver," she said.
Sure.
I tell you, it really opened my eyes, Miss McGee. I never realized how crazy Sally was about animals.
Animals? Well,
Yes, sir. I went right out that day, and I started looking, and I bought her a Christmas present that'll just tickle her to death.
Oh, dear. You don't mean you actually bought her a beaver. A live beaver, Lester?
Oh, no. I know better than that, Miss McGee.
Well, I'm glad. I really am.
Sure, beavers, they have to have water to live in. We couldn't keep a beaver at our house. But I did get Sally a pair of the cutest little hamsters you ever saw. A girl that loves animals like she does will be just as happy with hamsters as beavers because they're twice.
Tannenbaum, my Tannenbaum, your needles are so many. They're on the floor, around the door, and goodness, here's a penny. Wonder where the penny came from. Well, at least I get paid for my work. My, there were a lot of needles scattered around. But they're all cleaned up now.
Hi, kiddo.
Where'd you come from?
Out of the woodwork.
I believe it. Lester Nelson was over here to see you, and he waited a while. After he left, I looked all over the house for you because you promised to clean up these pine needles. I looked in the den and the basement.
Did you look in Kramer's drugstore? I was down there to get some cigars. Just ran out. And I just ran in again.
Without your overcoat and mittens. McGee, one of these days you're going to catch pneumonia.
Oh, Molly, why'd you have to say that?
Huh?
You said the secret medical word, and I'll eat my hat if the guy that rang that doorbell isn't.
Hey, kids, anybody home?
Dr. Gamble, how'd you know?
Saw him through the window.
In the living room, Doctor.
Well, I think I'll go down in the basement and fix my workbench. I got a loose leg on my bench.
McGee, that's impolite. We have a visitor. McGee!
Yeah, where is he, Molly? I want a word with that unjuvenile delinquent of yours.
Oh, dear, I thought it was something like that, the way he ducked out. What's the matter, Doctor?
Well, I've been calling him all day, the silly little comedian. Have you heard him on the phone?
Are you the one he gave that silly business to? That very sorry, this not McGee residence, this lumfang come as you are chop suey joint?
That was me. I also got, what's the matter? You got it the wrong num. This is the Pizza place, the best pizza in town. It get a very wearisome, believe me.
I know what you mean. What's it all about, Doctor?
Well, you know that big red leather chair in my office?
Oh, the red leather, sure. Beautiful chair.
Your little man dropped in a few weeks ago. Said he had a friend in the furniture cleaning business.
Oh?
Said he knew I'd been meaning to have that chair cleaned, and he'd take it and the ottoman out for me and have 'em ready for the holidays.
Well, now, that seems a nice, thoughtful thing to do. When was this?
3rd of December. I haven't seen the chair since.
What?
Every time I mention it to him, he says, "Well, these things take time, George. Still 10 days till Christmas." Or it's 8 days till Christmas. Now it's only 5 days till Christmas, and I want my chair.
Oh, well, dear, I don't blame you. But what do you think happened? I mean, why do you think it's taking...
I think that friend of his ruined my chair. That's what I think, Molly. And McGee's afraid to break the news to me.
Oh, my. Well, I hope that isn't what... Well, I don't blame you for being a little upset. We'll just have a talk with that Mr. McGee about that right now.
Good.
McGee? McGee, you hear me? Come up out of that basement or wherever you sneaked off to right this minute. You hear me? You go lock the front door, Doctor, and I'll lock the back, and we'll search this house because...
not in the basement, and he's not there. Oh, Molly, where are you?
Upstairs, Doctor. I've just been all over up here. You didn't find him, huh?
Nope. I looked in the basement. He went out to the garage.
I've looked everywhere up here. I'm afraid he skipped clear out of the house again. He's getting very good at that of late. I just realized that.
What do you mean?
Well, every time I have a chore for him to do, McGee just seems to disappear into thin air.
Oh, he does, huh?
Yes. And the minute I finish the chore myself, the minute I put away the broom or the dishes or the vacuum cleaner, out he pops. From nowhere. I don't know how he does it.
Oh? Well, I'm beginning to think maybe I do. Talk softly now. You looked in the guest room there, huh?
Yes, under the bed and everywhere.
Come on. Let's look in here again. You looked under the bed?
Yes.
And he's not behind the chair there. Or the dresser. How about in the closet here?
Oh, we can't open that. I told you before about the agreement McGee and I have. He doesn't look in my closet till Christmas, and I don't look in his closet.
Well, I don't have any agreement with him, so I'm going to open it. Ha-ha!
McGee!
How do you like that? Sitting in my red leather easy chair with his feet on my ottoman reading a comic book.
With a reading lamp on the wall, 3 ashtrays, a little shelf to hold his coffee cup.
Half a loaf of rye bread and a jar of mustard. Of all the...
I wondered where my cold cuts were disappearing to. If this isn't... McGee, what do you got to say for yourself?
Help.
I'm ashamed of you. Pulling a childish stunt like you did today.
Yeah, it was childish.
Imagine taking Dr. Gamble's nice leather chair out of the cleaners and never telling him, but bringing it here for your own use instead. So unfair.
Yeah, it was unfair.
Telling me not to look in your closet until after Christmas so you could use it as a hideout. So ridiculous.
Yeah. You're right, kiddo. It was everything you said so far. Childish, unfair, and ridiculous. And one thing more you overlooked.
What's that?
Fun. I kept sitting there thinking, if Molly or Doc only knew, oh boy, would they... I'm sorry. I won't do it again. Honest.
Okay. But if this wasn't Christmas time...
So long, everybody.
See you tomorrow. Bye.
Miles Laboratories, makers of Alka-Seltzer, bring you another visit with Fibber McGee and Molly. Again, we invite you to listen to the transcribed adventures of Fibber McGee and Molly. The show is written by Phil Leslie and Ralph Goodman and directed by Max Hutter.
Jingle bells, jingle all up. Wow! That rat hit it again. Oh.
You're getting pretty accurate, Sonny. That's the third time you've hit the same finger. That must take a lot of practice.
How long have you been standing there, you big torture lover?
What are you doing out in the cold here, anyhow, with all the wires and junk? Building a front yard booby trap for Santa Claus?
I, Doctor, am creating a little expression of peace and goodwill toward my fellow men.
Oh?
And fellow women, too, of course. Spreading a little Yuletide spirit. And hey, don't step on those boxes, Hamfoot. They're full of colored bulbs.
Oh, outdoor lighting deal, huh? Like Mort Toops has at his house?
Like Mort Toops has. That puny little display he's got.
Puny? It says Season's Greetings in letters 3 feet high, clear across the front of his house. It's the talk of the neighborhood.
Well, it won't be for long, my boy. I'm rigging up the outdoor lighting display to end all outdoor lighting displays, Fatso.
Oh, sure. Probably be the end of you, too. I had a patient last year who built his own front yard display.
Yeah?
Hooked the wiring up to the transformer on the corner.
Hey, I never thought of that smart idea. Got his electricity free for nothing that way, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Who was he? I know him?
I don't think so. He worked for the streetcar company.
Oh?
Been a motorman for 20 years, but when he hooked those wires of his onto the transformer, the motorman became a conductor. 7,000 volts.
Well, I'll hook mine up to the porch light or something. After all, it wouldn't be honest.
Oh, hello, Dr. Gamble.
Hi, Molly.
Say, what do you think of his Christmas lights idea, Doctor? Sounds good, huh?
I haven't heard it yet, Molly. And all I've seen so far is this nondescript pile of wires scattered across the lawn here. Looks like a barbed wire barricade put up by a cross-eyed street fighter on a dark night in Outer Mongolia.
Doctor.
Who ever heard of barbed wire with sockets on it, ignorance? Hey, if you guys will help me untangle this stuff and stretch it out across the lawn here, you'll see what I have bent this wire into all different shapes for.
Oh, spells out a message, huh?
Just you wait and see, Doctor.
Oh.
There, grab that end. I'll take my end over this way.
That's the M you got, Doc. Take it way over there.
All right.
That's it. Way over against the fence.
Holy smoke. These letters must be 6 feet high.
Yep, almost as big as you are wide, boy, and that's big. Lay 'em down. That's it.
Says Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice? My goodness, those 2 words stretch clear across our whole lawn.
Just barely makes it, McGee. Congratulations. For once, you measured something correctly.
Oh, my gosh, doggone the luck.
What?
I got another section in the garage. The whole sign is going to say Merry Christmas to all.
Oh, fine.
Yeah. And in the middle is a big papier-mâché Santa Claus's head with a big red nose that flashes on and off. And on each end is a big candle made out of neon tubes.
Heavenly days.
I'll bring it out here. Gee whiz, after all my work, I just got to find room some way to put it up if I have to wrap it all the way around the house. That ought to hold it. Hold that ladder steady now. I'm coming down.
Good. Come down while you're still ahead.
How's it look from down there? Good, huh?
Very impressive, dearie. It really does.
You betcha. I'll bet there's not another family in Wistful Vista with a sign that goes all the way from their front porch roof clear across over the street to the other side of the street.
Mm-hmm. Ought to be exciting. The big Santa Claus head in the middle and all. Oh, I'm just dying to see it lit up. I hope it works.
What do you mean you hope it works?
Well, I mean, it's almost dark and people won't be able to see the sign at all if the lights don't light, so I hope
Well, don't you worry about a thing, Mrs. McGee. You see these long copper wires here? I'm going to hook these up to the switch in the garage right now. And if anything goes wrong...
Yes?
I'd like the headstone to read, Here lies McGee, who I'll never forget, the shockingest man that I ever met.
What? You be careful now, McGee. Don't take any chance. I'm glad you came by, Mr. Wimple. He's going to turn it on any minute now.
My, that certainly is a big sign, all right. I can't make out what it says very well in the dark, but I bet it's something about Christmas.
You're a sharp one. Just wait till those lights come on.
Well, I'm all set, Molly, ready to turn on the juice. Here we go.
Oh, will you look at that, Mr. Wimple?
My goodness, clear across the street. That's just breathtaking.
How do you like the big Santa Claus head?
With his red nose flashing on and off. Oh, that's cute.
Well, how do you like it, kiddo? Oh, hi, Wimp.
It lights up the whole neighborhood, McGee.
It's just beautiful, Mr. McGee.
Yeah.
And quite a tribute, too. But who is this fellow, Al?
Al?
In your sign there. Merry Christmas to Al, it says.
Oh, dear. That's supposed to be Merry Christmas to all.
Oh, for the dad ratted like a short circuit. I'll go cut it off at the main switch, and then I'll have to climb that ladder and check the wiring. I knew this was... Okay, Molly, hold that ladder steady. I'm coming down.
She's in the house getting warm again, but I'll hold it.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks, Wimp. I found the short okay, so... Hey, Molly, it's all set.
All right, McGee, I'm coming.
My, this sign is causing you a lot of trouble, Mr. McGee.
Ah, but it's going to be worth it, Wimp. This thing will outshine Mortoops' display 1,000,000 times. You watch it now, Molly. I'll go throw the switch in the garage again.
Okay, hurry it up, though. I'm getting sleepy and it's cold out here.
After 10 o'clock, I should have been in bed.
Here we go, kids. There.
Bright, isn't it?
Is it on, Molly?
Yeah, but I'm afraid I have some bad news for you.
Huh?
Remember our friend Al? He just blacked out.
What?
Yes, and now it just says, Merry Christmas, too.
Oh, no. You mean after all my fixing, it's still... Oh, heck.
Well, if you can disconnect that word, too, it'll still say Merry Christmas.
All you need, really.
Yes, but...
And that big Santa Claus head with the red nose that goes on and off and on...
Doesn't go off anymore. It just stays on, doesn't it?
You know, I like it even better that way. Don't you, Mr. Wimple?
Oh, yes, indeed. Oh, it's much nicer.
Yeah, but I wanted
It's a wonderful sign. Very impressive. 3 times as big as Mort Toops's.
Yeah, but if that...
Oh, it makes Mort's sign look sick. Stretched clear across the street like this. It's tremendous.
Okay. I'll get back up the ladder and clip the little red wire to disconnect the word to and... No, I think it's the blue wire I ought to cut to get... No, that's for Santa's red nose. I don't know...
Never mind. Look.
The word to just went out too, Mr. McGee, all by itself.
Oh, swell.
Aren't you lucky?
Aren't we all?
Yeah, well, good night, Wimp. Come on, Molly. Let's lock up and get to bed. I'm bushed. Gee, that's a nice sign, though. Merry Christmas. That's just the right sentiment for this time of year. Molly, you sleep?
Yes.
Oh, no, I'm serious.
Look, if you're going to ask me to go to the window again and look at that beautiful sign of yours...
No, something woke me up. It sounded like an auto horn, and... You see? There it goes again.
Fine time to be honking a horn. It's after midnight.
My gosh, of all the inconsiderate... What the heck's going on out there? Can you see?
Well, those idiotic people, what do they... Oh, for heaven's sake.
Well, what is it?
Looks like a traffic jam right under your sign. There's cars clear to the corner, people getting out and taking a look.
No kidding, let me see.
There's a man with a camera, must be a newspaper man.
Well, I'll be... Hey, I'm going to be famous. I told Wimp this sign of mine had stopped traffic, but I never... Boy, oh boy, isn't this something?
I can't understand why they're all... Oh, dear.
I'm going to grab my bathrobe and go down there. Maybe they want me to pose for a picture. What's the matter?
Don't go out there. I see the reason now for all the fuss and the traffic jam and all.
What is it? What you mean? What's the matter?
Look, all the lights on your sign are out except the big red light, dead center there, in Santa Claus's nose. They think it's a traffic signal.
What? Oh, my gosh. Are there any cops out there? Can you hear the cops? Uh-oh.
Does that answer your question?
Gee whiz, Molly, what can I do?
Quick, duck downstairs, go out to the garage and pull a switch on that sign.
Yeah.
I'll put a pot of coffee on and ask the policeman in because a hot cup of coffee on a night like this... I thought those policemen would never go home. A gallon of coffee they drank.
They turned out to be pretty good guys, though, at that. They said if I'd make one little change in that sign, I can turn it back on tomorrow.
Oh?
You know, it was that red light in Santa Claus's nose that caused the trouble. Everybody thought it was a stoplight. So, tomorrow I'm going to change it to a go light.
A go light? You mean?
I mean that starting tomorrow, we'll not only have the largest greeting sign in town, but we'll have the only Santa Claus with a big green nose.
Should be lovely.
Yep, and different.
Go to bed.
Okay. So long, everybody.
Bye. See you tomorrow.
Fibber McGee and Molly, transcribed, is brought to you Mondays through Fridays at this time by Miles Laboratories, makers of Alka-Seltzer. Bill Thompson and Arthur Q. Bryan play Mr. Wimple and Dr. Gamble. This is John Wald urging you to be with us again tomorrow when the McGees discover that in the frantic Christmas rush, they've forgotten something of great importance to them. Goodbye.
Welcome back to Yesterday Today. We are currently digging for buried Ecuadorian money and our identification cards, various other things that Willie and Billy have buried under this tree in the woods. Completely coincidentally, as it happens, this is Sidney's tree. The tree that he lives in.
What do you mean we've been digging? You've been up there sipping eggnog with your feet up while we've been down here in the hole breaking our backs.
We didn't bury the money, Willie. We're not going to dig it up.
Well, your property's down here too. I'm tired. I want me a sip of cold eggnog.
Way to be forgiven during the holidays.
Hey, oh my God, Santa Claus! It's Santa Claus! Oh, he came, he's a bit early, but he came, Santa Claus.
Oh boy, here comes Sidney.
Santa, Oh, Santa, you came to my house. What are you doing down the hall with your elf there, Santa?
Cindy, quit hugging me, son. What are you doing up in a tree?
I live in this tree. I sent you my change of address thing, Santa, so that you would know where to deliver my gifts this year.
Oh, you probably sent that to the North Pole, didn't you? That means the wife got a hold of it.
Oh, you didn't get it? Well, I can tell you right now what gifts I wanted. All right, let's see. I kept a copy of the list in my pocket here somewhere. Oh, this is so exciting. I'm meeting Santa Claus. Where's that list? I must have looked in the tree. I'll be right back. I gotta scurry up the tree.
Sydney, that's not...
Just let him have his fun. I'm not one to break his little heart today, McLean.
You know, Pops, I'm beginning to wonder if this is really worth it. Like, what's the exchange rate on that currency anyway? Like, it could all be just a big scam. I'd rather, invest in Bitcoin or something.
Oh, that's the way to do it. I hear lots of good things about that.
What are them decentralized ones where you don't have to have the government tell you how much your money is worth? Now, that's what I like that.
Yeah, you just get you your monkey pictures, and then you're sitting pretty. Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys. Our last show for today is an episode of the Lux Radio Theater. It is their adaptation of Miracle on 34th Street. So hope you like that. Hopefully we'll have our wallets back soon, and it'll be a Merry Christmas all around.
I found the list. Okay, all right. Number 1, bicycle. Number 2, new ant farm. Number 3, this is going to take a while. You comfortable?
Oh, about as comfortable as I can be.
Okay, number 3...
Don't sit on my knee, Sidney. For goodness sake, you're a grown man.
Number 3, new ghost hunting equipment. Number 4, 45-pound block of Swiss cheese. Number 5, lifetime supply of clam chowder. Number 6...
Lux presents Hollywood. Lever Brothers Company, the makers of Lux Flakes, bring you the Lux Radio Theater, starring Maureen O'Hara, John Payne, and Edmund Gwenn in Miracle on 34th Street. Ladies and gentlemen, your producer, Mr. William Keeley.
Greetings from Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. Our Christmas present to you is the new Christmas classic of our time, Miracle on 34th Street. It's wrapped in a gay covering of laughter, tied with a bright ribbon of good humor, and decorated with the 3 sparkling stars of the 20th Century Fox picture, Maureen O'Hara, John Payne, and Edmund Gwenn. This is a wonderful story for the whole family, and perhaps some families may be gathered around a Christmas tree as they listen. Others will be putting up this happy sign of the season in a few days with lights and ornaments and the shining snow that can be made with Lux Flakes. Later, we'll tell you how to do this trick with Lux. But right now, it's curtain time for the play that proves there's a Santa Claus. Miracle on 34th Street, starring Maureen O'Hara as Doris, John Payne as Fred, and Edmund Gwenn in his Academy Award-winning performance as Kris Kringle. It's Thanksgiving Day in New York City. On a broad avenue adjoining Central Park, an annual event is being joyfully awaited. The spectacular parade presented by Macy's department store to herald in the Christmas season. Away from the crowd are 2 of Macy's public relations experts.
He's simply wonderful, Mrs. Walker. Just look at him on that float. The most realistic Santa Claus we've ever had. Why, he didn't even need any padding, did he?
Padding?
Why, didn't you notice his tummy? So round, so firm, so fully packed. Well, now that everything's under control, where on earth did you find him?
I don't know. I just turned around and there he was.
And to think that the man whose place he took was intoxicated.
With a breath that would knock over a reindeer.
Oh, just think if Mr. Macy had seen him.
What if Mr. Gimble had seen him? Competition between our stores is tough enough.
Well, the parade's starting. Let's stand at the curb.
Not I, Mr. Shellhammer. I'm going home to relax. Anyway, I can see it from there. I live just around the corner.
Oh, so you do. Well, I'll see you tomorrow, Mrs. Walker. And congratulations on finding the best Santa Claus in Macy's history.
certainly is a wonderful parade, Susan. Just look at that clown. Gosh, what a giant.
Giant, Mr. Gailey? There are no such things as giants.
Well, not now, maybe, but in olden days there's...
Really, Mr. Gailey? And you a lawyer.
Well, what about the giant that Jack killed? You know, Jack and the Beanstalk?
Everybody knows that's a fairy tale. And I agree with my mother. Fairy tales are silly.
Come in.
Good afternoon. I'm Susan's mother. My name's Mary.
Oh, hello, Mother. I'm watching the parade. Mr. Gailey invited me.
Hello, darling.
Susie's told me quite a lot about you, Mrs. Walker.
She told me quite a lot about you, too. The man in the front apartment.
Well, this is all part of a plot, Mrs. Walker. I'm very fond of Susie, but I also wanted to meet you.
At least you're frank.
There goes Santa Claus.
Oh, don't even mention the name.
Why not, Mother?
Well, that Santa Claus you see is a last-minute substitute.
But why?
Oh, remember the way the janitor was last New Year's?
Oh, my. Tight as an owl.
I see Susan doesn't believe in Santa Claus either.
That's right, she never has.
Well, that's the end of the parade. Mother, I've been thinking. It's Thanksgiving, and there are only 2 of us. Couldn't we invite Mr. Gailey?
Well,
Oh, please don't bother. I'll just have a sandwich or something.
But we have such a big turkey. Please, Mother, please.
Well,
Did I ask her all right, Mr. Gailey?
Susie, shh.
You asked fine, Susan. Dinner's at 3, Mr. Gailey.
Hello, Mrs. Walker.
Yes, Mr. Shellhammer.
Your maid said you were at Thanksgiving dinner, but I just had to tell you. Your Santa Claus was stupendous.
Well, thank you.
Mr. Macy himself wants him to be our toy department Santa Claus.
Oh, fine. Can you hire him?
Oh, I already have. Oh, he's a born salesman. I just feel it.
Good. We'll talk about it in the morning. Thanks for calling, Mr. Shellhammer.
Here he is, Mr. Shellhammer. Here's Santa Claus.
Oh, thank you, Alfred. Thank you. Good morning, Santa Claus.
Good morning.
Now, before you go to the toy department, here's a list of toys that we have to push.
Huh?
You know, things we're overstocked on. Now, you'll find that a great many children will be undecided as to what they want for Christmas. And when that happens, you immediately suggest one of these items. Do you understand?
I certainly do.
Fine, that's fine. Now, take the list, and Alfred here will show you to your throne in the toy department. And don't you forget, you're working for Macy's.
Are you really Santa Claus?
Why, of course I am. What do you want for Christmas, little boy?
I want a fire engine with a real hose that squirts real wet water, and I won't do it in the house. I'll only do it in the backyard, I promise.
And I promise you'll get your fire engine.
You see, Mama, I told you you'd get me one.
That's fine. That's just dandy. You wait here, Mortimer. Mama wants to thank Santa Claus, too.
Yes, madam?
So what's the matter with you?
No. What's the trouble?
I told you before, didn't I? The kid wants a fire engine, but there isn't one to be had anywhere in town. Macy's ain't got any. Gimbel's ain't got any. Nobody's got any. My feet are killing me, and you say, okay, he gets the fire engine.
But you can get those fire engines at Schoenfeld's, Lexington Avenue. Only $4.50, a wonderful bargain.
Schoenfeld?
Yes.
Hey, I don't get it.
Oh, I follow the toy market very closely.
Macy's sending people to other stores?
Yes.
Are you kidding?
No. The one important thing is to make the children happy. Whether Macy's or somebody else sells the toy doesn't matter. Don't you feel that way?
Who, me?
Yes.
Oh, yes, sure. Only I didn't know Macy's did. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Who's next, please? Right this way to see Santa Claus. All right, little girl. You're next.
Of course, little girl. You want some roller skates? Well, you shall have them, too.
Mama, he's going to bring me some roller skates.
And he has some fine skates here at Macy's, haven't you, Santa Claus?
Oh, they're good skates, all right, but not quite good enough. Now, I left some really wonderful roller skates at Gimbel's. I'm sure Gimbel's have just what this good little girl wants. Very good.
Mr. Shellhammer, are you Mr. Shellhammer?
Gimbels? Gimbels? That's just what he did say. Gimbels.
The sales lady said I should speak to you.
Gimbels.
I just wanted to congratulate you and Macy's on this wonderful new stunt you're pulling.
Gimbels.
And imagine a big outfit like Macy's putting the spirit of Christmas ahead of the commercial.
Gimbals.
From now on, I'm going to be a regular Macy customer. All right, Mortimer, we're going.
Gimbals!
And there's the toy department over there, Mr. Gailey.
You certainly know all about Macy's store, don't you, Susan?
Well, that's because my mother works here. But I still think it's silly bringing me here to see Santa Claus.
Well, I just feel that when you've talked to him, you might...
Okay, Mr. Gailey. I'm certainly willing to try.
Well, what a fine young lady, eh? And what's your name, little girl?
Susan Walker. What's yours?
Mine? Kris Kringle. I'm Santa Claus.
Mm.
Oh, you don't believe that, eh?
You see, my mother's Mrs. Walker.
Oh.
But I must say you're the best-looking Santa Claus I've ever seen.
Really?
Your beard, for instance. It doesn't have one of those things that goes over your ears.
That's because it's real. Just like I'm really Santa Claus. Now go ahead, pull it.
Oh, my goodness, it is real.
Yes, yeah. And now what would you like me to bring you for Christmas?
Nothing, thank you. Whatever I want, my mother will get. If it's sensible and doesn't cost too much.
Oh. That's quite right, Susan.
Oh, hello, Mother.
Hello, Mr. Gailey.
Hello. The explanation for all this is very simple. Your maid's mother sprained her ankle. She had to go home, so she asked me to bring Susie down to you. And as long as we were here, I figured we might as well say hello to Santa Claus.
He has real whiskers, Mother.
Susan, would you mind standing over there a minute?
If you want me to.
I shouldn't have brought Susie to see Santa. Is that it?
Now you're making me feel completely heartless.
I'm sorry.
Don't you see, I tell Susan that Santa Claus is a myth. And you show her a very convincing old man with real whiskers. Well, whom is she to believe?
Yeah, that's right, isn't it?
When Susan was a baby, her father and I were divorced. And ever since then, I've protected my child by teaching her realities. If you don't believe in fairy tales and fantasy, you can never be hurt or disillusioned.
We were talking about Susie, Mrs. Walker.
And I must ask you to let me raise her as I see fit. All right, dear. The store's going to close soon. We'll run along to my office.
Alfred said you wanted to see me, Mrs. Walker.
Oh, yes. Come in. I'd be grateful if you would please tell Susan that you're not really Santa Claus, that there actually is no such person.
Oh, but Mrs. Walker, not only isn't there such a person, but here I am to prove it.
No, you misunderstand. I want you to tell her the truth. Now, what's your real name?
Kris Kringle, and I always tell the truth. Susan, I'll bet you're in the first grade.
Second grade.
I mean your real name.
Well, that is my real name. My goodness, the second grade?
Very well. I have your employment card right here. I'll look it up on that.
That's a very cute dress you have on, Susan.
It's from Macy's. We get 10% off.
Oh.
So, you always tell the truth, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Look at your employment card.
Name, Kris Kringle. Address, Brooks Memorial Home, Great Neck, Long Island. You may call the home if you'd care to confirm that, Mrs. Walker. It's a home for elderly gentlemen.
Would you also like me to confirm this?
What's that?
Date of birth. As old as my tongue and a little bit older than my teeth. Place of birth. North Pole. Now, really.
Why, I believe you doubt me, Mrs. Walker.
And this tops everything. Next of kin.
Oh, that.
Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, and Vixen. I'm sorry to have to do this, Mr.
Kringle?
But the Santa Claus that we had 2 years ago is back in town, and I feel that we owe it to him to...
What, have I done something wrong?
No. It's just that we feel... Oh, excuse me. Hello?
This is Mr. Shellhammer, Mrs. Walker. Drop whatever you're doing. Mr. Macy wants to see us immediately.
Oh, I'll be right up. I'm afraid I'll have to be very abrupt with you. I have to see Mr. Macy. You'll be paid for the full week, Mr. Kringle, and I'll send your check to that address.
Come right in, Mrs. Walker. Mr. Shellhammer.
Thank you, Mr. Macy.
Now, about this new policy you two initiated. Macy's Santa Claus sending customers to Gimbal.
Well, I can explain everything, Mr. Macy.
You don't have to explain a thing. Just look at my desk. 42 telegrams and over 500 phone calls. Grateful parents expressing undying gratitude to Macy's department store.
Why, you don't say.
From now on, not only will our Santa Claus continue in this manner, but every salesperson in the entire store.
You mean that if we haven't got what the customer asks for, we're
to send him where he can get it. No high-pressuring and forcing a customer to take something he doesn't really want.
I think that's wonderful, Mr. Macy.
Why, we'll be known as the helpful store, the friendly store. The store that places public service ahead of profits. And consequently, we will make more profits than ever. As for you, Mrs. Walker and Mr. Shellhammer, you'll find a more practical expression of my gratitude in your Christmas envelope.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes.
And tell that wonderful Santa Claus I won't forget him either. As a matter of fact, I'll tell him myself in the morning.
Yes, indeed, Mr. Macy.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Macy.
And thank you again, sir. Oh, imagine a bonus.
Yes.
Well, what's the matter with you?
Mr. Shellhammer, I just fired him.
Who?
Santa Claus.
No, you couldn't have.
But I did. He's crazy, Mr. Shellhammer. He really thinks he is Santa Claus.
I don't care if he thinks he's the Easter Bunny. Find him.
Act 2 of Miracle on 34th Street will continue in a moment. Well, Libby, have you given Santa your Christmas list?
Yes, indeed, John. And number 1 on my list is a pair of Chinese pajamas with a 3/4 coat and little upstanding collar. Just like the ones Mata Torin wears in Rogue's Regiment.
Perhaps you'd better have the wardrobe mistress of Universal International show Santa what you mean.
Well, I'm sure Dick Powell or Stephen McNally could give him a good description. They found Marta very glamorous in this modern story of the French Foreign Legion.
And what a villain Vincent Price is in Rogue's Regiment.
Mm-hmm.
I was on the edge of my seat through the whole picture. And you talk about a pair of pajamas.
Well, they were very special. Marta liked them so well, she had 4 pairs made for her personal wardrobe. And she was delighted when they told her she could Lux them.
That's about the easiest care in the world. Especially now with the new tiny diamonds of Lux. Another triumph of the famous Lever Laboratories. These tiny diamonds are so much faster, they burst into suds the instant water touches them. And make wonderfully rich suds that last and last.
Don't colors look marvelous when they're Luxed? So fresh and new. No wonder smart girls say they won't risk wrong washing methods.
Tests prove that with gentle care with Lux Flakes really makes a difference. Lux slips and nighties stayed new looking 3 times as long. And that's just like getting 3 pretty slips for the price of 1.
A really thoughtful Santa would put a box of Lux Flakes in every lingerie gift next Friday night.
Here's our producer, Mr. William Keeley.
Act 2 of Miracle on 34th Street, starring Maureen O'Hara as Doris, John Payne as Fred, and Edmund Gwen as Kris Kringle. It was a frantic few hours that Doris spent last night, rushing out to the Brooks Memorial Home in Long Island and assuring Kris Kringle that Macy's wanted him back as Santa Claus. Now Kris is again presiding over the crowded toy department, while in her office, Doris and Mr. Shellhammer...
Don't you understand, Mr. Shellhammer? That old man with the nice white whiskers insists that he is Santa Claus. Why, he's out of his mind. What if he should have a fit or something? Oh, no, I've got to tell Mr. Macy.
Yes, but maybe he's only a little crazy. Anyway, you can't be sure until he's examined. We'll send him to Mr. Sawyer.
Sawyer?
In personnel. He's paid to examine employees, isn't he? And now, by the way, what do you think of this?
What is it?
A full-page ad Macy's is running in tomorrow's newspapers.
Macy's is running it. But it's all about the other stores, Gimbel's and Saks.
I know. Mr. Macy's idea to help our customers find what they want. It's revolting, isn't it?
That Santa Claus certainly has started something. Oh, well, I'll get a hold of him in his lunch hour and send him up to Mr. Sawyer.
So I changed my clothes, Mr. Sawyer, and came right up.
Oh. Well, then that's your own beard, huh?
Oh, yes.
Interesting complexion back of that. Why do you carry a cane?
Always carry a cane, Mr. Sawyer. Well, that is when I wear street clothes. I carved this cane out of a runner from one of my old sleighs.
What's that? What's that?
With a fine, solid silver top.
Oh. Who was the first president of the United States?
Oh? Oh, give me a difficult one, like who was vice president under James Monroe?
I'm conducting this examination.
The answer is Daniel D. Tompkins.
Oh.
Yes. You're a rather nervous man, aren't you, Mr. Sawyer? Tell me, do you get enough sleep?
My personal habits are no concern of yours. Now, what hand am I holding up?
Right hand.
How many fingers do you see?
3. Oh, dear, oh, dear. You bite your nails, too.
Stand up now. Feet together. Arms extended.
Muscular coordination test? I've taken dozens of these tests. Mr. Sawyer, are you happy at home?
What? That will be all, Mr. Kringle. The examination is over.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it may interest you to know I've been happily married for 22 years. Very happily married.
Delighted to hear it. Goodbye, Mr. Sawyer.
Miss Prawn.
Yes, sir.
Get Mrs. Walker on the phone.
Yes, sir. But your wife, Mr. Sawyer, she's called 4 times already.
Well, you tell my big fat wife to shut up and mind her own business.
Here's Mrs. Walker, sir.
All right. Hello.
Oh, I was just going to call you, Mr. Sawyer.
Oh?
There's a Dr. Pierce stopping by this afternoon at 3.
Who's Dr. Pierce?
He's the physician at the Brooks home. I thought we might discuss Mr. Kringle's case with him.
Oh, there's hardly any point in discussing it, Mrs. Walker. Obviously, the old man should be discharged. So, Dr. Pierce, Kringle should be dismissed immediately and sent to a mental institution.
Oh, now, just a minute, Mr. Sawyer.
He's deluded, saying that he's Santa Claus.
It's a delusion for good. I found he only wants to be friendly and helpful.
His whole manner suggests aggressiveness. Look at the way he carries that cane. Mrs. Walker, naturally, I can't discharge that loony, so when he exhibits his maniacal tendencies, please realize the responsibility is completely yours.
Well, I'm right back where I started.
Mrs. Walker, I assure you, Kris Kringle has no maniacal tendency.
But if there's the slightest possibility of us causing any trouble...
What trouble?
All that needs happen is a policeman ask his name. Kris Kringle, clang, clang, and Macy's Santa Claus lands up in the psychopathic ward.
Well, you can prevent that very simply. Now, there must be someone here at the store who could rent him a room. Then they could both come to work together. Just as soon he avoided that long train ride to Long Island, anyway.
You mean sort of take custody of him?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that Mr. Kringle would agree to that?
Oh, I'm sure he'll agree.
Well, in that case... Now, let me see. Who do I know who could rent him a room?
I'm glad you're going to have dinner with us, Mr. Kringle.
Oh, thank you, Susan.
I'm also very glad you're going to live next door with Mr. Gailey.
Oh? Why?
Because you're nice to talk to.
Oh, I say, what a fine young man that Mr. Gailey is, eh? Just think, allowing me to share his apartment, a mere stranger.
He did it because Mother hinted to him.
Oh, well, anyway, I'm very grateful.
Shall I tell you what I did in school today?
By all means. Any games?
Yes. And a very silly game, too.
Oh?
They played zoo, and each child was supposed to be an animal.
Oh, but Susan, they were just pretending.
But that's what makes the game so silly.
Oh. Well, of course, in order to play games, you need imagination.
Oh, that's when you see things, but they're not really there, huh?
Oh, yes. Yes, but, you know, to me, imagination is a place all by itself. Now, you've heard of the French nation.
Mm-hmm.
And the British nation.
Yes.
Well, this is the imagination. A very interesting place, too. Now, how would you like to be able to make snowballs in summertime, eh?
What?
Or be the Statue of Liberty in the morning, and in the afternoon, fly south with a flock of geese?
Well, I'm quite sure I'd like it, but...
Oh, it's very simple. Very. Well, anyway, look here. The next time they play zoo, you can be a monkey.
But I don't know how to be a monkey.
Don't you? Oh, I'll show you. Now, first, you bend over a little, like this, see? Now, let your arms hang loose, see?
Like this?
Yes, that's fine, fine. Now, put your hand over here and start scratching, see? Yeah. That's it. That's it. That's excellent, Susan. That's as fine a bit of scratching as I've ever seen. Yeah. Now you start chattering.
Chattering?
Yes, now listen. See? And keep scratching. Now then, look here. We'll do it together, see? Chatter and scratch and chatter, see? That's fine, Susan. Fine. You're doing beautifully. Beautifully, yes.
Susan, are you still awake?
Uh-huh.
I've just come in to say good night, Susan, that's all. Now, look here, about Christmas. There must be something you'd like for Christmas.
Well, I've certainly thought about something, Mr. Kringle.
You have? Well, what is it, eh? Tell me.
It's right here on the night table, see? I tore this page out of a magazine. It's a picture of a house.
Oh, that's what you want, is it? A doll's house. Colonial architecture.
Oh, not a doll's house, a real house.
A real house?
Yes. And if you're really Santa Claus, you can get it for me.
Now, wait a minute, Susie. What could you possibly do with a big house?
Live in it with my mother. And a backyard with a big tree to put a swing on, and a garden, and a... Oh, well, why even discuss it?
Susie, could I keep this picture? Just in case?
I guess so.
Thank you, dear. Thank you. Well, Mr. Gailey's waiting for me. Good night, monkey.
Good night, Mr. Kringle.
Take whichever bed you want, Mr. Kringle.
You're very kind, really. Tell me, Mr. Gailey, what is it you just do for a living, eh?
Oh, I'm a lawyer. Haslip, Sherman, and Mackenzie.
Oh. And you like living here in the city?
Well, it's convenient. But someday I'd like to get a place on Long Island.
Huh.
Not a big house, just one of those junior partner deals around Manhasset.
Oh, one of those little colonial houses, eh?
Yeah. A little colonial house would be swell.
Good, yeah. You're, you're quite fond of Mrs. Walker, aren't you?
A lot of good it does me. She lives in a cast iron shell that's just a little difficult to penetrate.
Oh. Well, you must try a little harder, Mr. Gailey. You know, Mrs. Walker and that child are a couple of lost souls. And it's up to us to help them. See?
No?
Yeah, she... Oh, well, shall I turn out the light?
No. I'm not going to be cheated out of this. You know, all my life I've wondered about it, and now I'm going to find out. Tell me, does Santa Claus sleep with his whiskers outside or inside the cover?
Oh, outside, of course. Outside, by all means. The cold air makes them grow.
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, come in, Mrs. Walker. Come in.
Thank you, Mr. Macy. I've just heard something very exciting.
You have? Well, let me tell you something very exciting. Our policy of being kind to customers has tripled our sales. Now, what do you think of that?
That's wonderful, Mr. Macy. And Gimbels thinks it's wonderful, too.
Gimbels?
Gimbels are adopting the same policy.
Well, is that so?
And it gives me an idea. As long as Gimbels are doing the same thing, why not some pictures for the newspapers?
Pictures?
Yes. You and Mr. Gimbel shaking hands.
Shaking hands? R.H. Macy and Gimbel?
Well, yes.
Yes, why not? With Santa Claus. It's a great idea, Mrs. Walker. Macy and Gimbel shaking hands. Oh, that's enough pictures, gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, Mr. Gimbel?
Come on, R.H. Now we'll go over to my store and get some really good pictures.
Oh, just a minute. I have something here for Santa Claus. Here you are, Mr. Kringle. A check in appreciation of all you've done.
Mr. Macy, why, that's most kind of you.
I didn't think you were that generous, R.H. That's quite a check. What are you going to do with it, Mr. Kringle?
Well, I have a friend, a Dr. Pierce. He needs a new X-ray machine.
You buy the machine through the store. 10% discount.
Nonsense. Come over to Gimbel's. We'll furnish it at cost.
Oh, keep it up, gentlemen. Keep it up. At this rate, my friend will have a whole new hospital.
How did the pictures turn out, Mr. Kringle?
Oh, fine, Alfred, fine. How about a game of checkers during lunch, eh?
Oh, not today, Chris. I don't feel so good.
Oh? What's the matter, Alfred?
Oh, nothing much. You remember I was telling you how I like to play Santa Claus over at the Y and give out packages to the kids?
Yeah?
Well, I was telling Mr. Sawyer about it, and he says that's very bad. That psychologically it's all wrong.
Wrong? To be nice to children?
Well, he says guys who play Santa Claus do it because when they was young they must have done something bad. Now they do something they think is good to make up for it, see? It's what he calls a guilt complex.
Alfred, what else has he found wrong with you?
Oh, nothing much. Just that I hate my father. I didn't know it, but he says I do.
Excuse me.
Hey, ain't you going to have lunch?
Later. Right now, I have an appointment with Mr. Sawyer.
What do you mean breaking into my office like this?
Are you a licensed psychiatrist?
What business is it of yours?
I have great respect for psychiatry and great contempt for meddling amateurs who go around practicing it.
Oh, shut up.
You ought to be horsewhipped. Taking a boy like Alfred and filling him up with complexes and phobias.
I think I'm better equipped to judge that than you.
Just because Alfred wants to be kind to children, you tell him he has a guilt complex.
Yes. Having the same delusion you couldn't possibly understand.
Oh.
And don't you wave that cane at me.
Either you stop analyzing Alfred or I'll go straight to Mr. Macy and tell him what a contemptible fraud you are.
Get out of here. Get out of here before I have you thrown out.
There's only one way to handle a man like you. Maybe this'll knock some sense into you.
Oh, help. Oh, my head. My head. Oh.
Good day, Mr. Sawyer.
Miss Prawn, get me the police. Get me Mrs. Walker. Get me the psychopathic ward in Bellevue Hospital.
You can see Mr. Kringle now, Mr. Gailey.
Thank you, nurse. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Fred.
Chris, I've been speaking to the doctors. They said they've given you some tests.
Oh, yes. Same old tests.
Except this time you failed to pass them. Chris, you deliberately failed. Why?
Why? Well, because I had great hopes, Fred. I had a feeling Mrs. Walker was beginning to believe in me, and now I discover she was only humoring me all the time.
But this wasn't Doris's idea at all. Mr. Sawyer had you sent up here before she even knew about it.
But why didn't she come to me and explain things?
Because she didn't want to hurt you.
Oh, well, it's not just Mrs. Walker. Well, now, take Mr. Sawyer. He's contemptible, dishonest, deceitful, yet he's out there and I'm in here. Well, if that's normal, I don't want it.
But you can't just think of yourself, Chris. What happens to you matters to a lot of other people. People like me who believe in what you stand for, and people like Susie, who are just beginning to. Chris, you're letting us down.
Well, Fred, maybe you're right. Of course you're right. I ought to be ashamed of myself. Let's get out of here.
Now, wait a minute. You flunked your mental examination, but good.
Oh, yes, so I did. Oh. Well, anyway, you're a lawyer. You fix it.
Hey, look, I can't just...
Now, I won't let you down, and you won't let me down.
Chris, now take it easy. Look, there'll have to be a hearing. If you're going to be committed, it has to be before a judge.
Well,
if I can do anything at all, it'll have to be in courtroom. Now, sit tight, Chris. I'll get an idea. I have to get an idea.
You sent for me, Mr. Macy?
I certainly did, Mr. Sawyer. I brought my family to the toy department to see our Santa Claus, and our Santa Claus isn't there. He's in Bellevue.
Yes, Mr. Macy.
Because he's a lunatic.
Yes, sir, a lunatic.
Lunatic, my foot. Now, you listen to me, Sawyer. You get that case dropped right away, or you'll have another lump to match the one he gave you.
But it's out of my hands. Mr. Kringle goes to court in the morning.
Well, just see that he's back in the toy department by afternoon. Now, get out of here.
Oh, Mr. Gailey. Mr. Gailey.
Yes?
I've been looking all over for you. I'm Mr. Sawyer.
Oh, so you're Sawyer?
Yes. I was just speaking to the court clerk, and he said you represent Mr. Kringle. Well, I represent Mr. Macy.
Well, then I'll see you in court.
Oh, no. That's what I wanted to speak to you about. Now, Mr. Macy would like to drop the whole case right now. You see, we're most anxious to avoid any publicity.
No publicity, huh? Well, that's very interesting.
Oh, then you'll cooperate?
You know something, Sawyer? You've just given me the idea I've been searching for.
Oh, good, good.
If I'm going to win this case, I'm going to have public opinion and plenty of it. And publicity's just the way to do it. Thanks. And so long, Mr. Sawyer.
Mr. Gailey? But Mr. Gailey!
Look at these newspapers, Chris. Here. Evening Dispatch. Doctors doubt sanity of Santa who launched Goodwill campaign.
Oh, my.
Daily Bulletin. Macy's Santa Claus to have lunacy hearing.
What's this one?
The New York Express.
Is Kris Kringle crazy? Court case coming. Kiddies cry calamity.
You've driven the United Nations clear back to page 5. Well, get a good night's sleep, Chris. We go before Judge Harper at 10 tomorrow morning.
We pause now for station identification. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. Our stars will return with Act 3 of Miracle on 34th Street in a moment. When a new player signs a contract with 20th Century Fox, she soon gets well acquainted with Miss Helena Sorrell, head dramatic coach. Helena, do you like to watch your pupils perform in a picture?
Oh, of course, John, because I take a personal interest in them. I'm especially proud of Betty Grable in her new picture, When My Baby Smiles at Me.
Betty's become a really fine dramatic actress.
She certainly has.
She and Dan Daly are magnificent as a couple of vaudeville hoofers.
And Betty's costumes in When My Baby Smiles at Me gave me a thrill. And I was amazed how many things the wardrobe department washed with Lux Flakes. It reminded me of my theatrical days when I was on the road and lived in a couple of trunks.
A box of Lux Flakes in each?
That's absolutely true, John. I was never without it, in my hotel or at the theater.
Well, then you've probably discovered that the new tiny diamonds of Lux are more wonderful than ever. They're so much faster and richer. Do more for you, too. They remove soil which other types of suds can't. Leave things cleaner, fresher.
And Lux Flakes keep colors lovely.
You're right there. That's why it's foolish to risk wrong washing methods that may fade colors. Actual tests show that with gentle Lux Flakes care, colors stay lovely up to 3 times as long.
That's a good tip for girls who get nice blouses and sweaters for Christmas.
Right you are. And thank you for coming tonight, Helena Sorrell. We return you now to William Keighley.
The curtain rises on the third act of Miracle on 34th Street, starring Maureen O'Hara as Doris, John Payne as Fred, and Edmund Gwenn as Chris. For a few weeks, a jolly elderly gentleman named Kris Kringle has been working minor miracles as Macy's Santa Claus. But now his sanity has been seriously questioned. And in a crowded courtroom, Judge Harper listens patiently as the assistant district attorney summons Chris to the witness stand.
Now, this is not a trial, Mr. Kringle. It's just a hearing, so you don't have to answer any questions. Now then, where do you live, please?
Well, it seems to me that's what this hearing will decide, won't it?
Mr. Kringle, do you believe that you are Santa Claus?
Of course I do.
That's all, Your Honor. The state rests its case.
Well, Mr. Gailey? Your Honor, Mr. Mara contends my client is not sane because he believes he is Santa Claus.
An entirely logical conclusion. Anyone who thinks he's Santa Claus is crazy.
Your Honor, you believe yourself to be Judge Harper, yet no one questions your sanity because you are Judge Harper, do they?
Mr. Kringle is the subject of this sanity hearing, not I.
Well, Your Honor, I intend to prove that Mr. Kringle is Santa Claus.
Mr. Mara, I thought you said this was a cut-and-dried sanity hearing.
I thought it was, Your Honor.
In view of Mr. Gailey's statement, I'll have to review the entire background of this case. Court's adjourned till tomorrow morning.
Hello, Doris. I'm sorry I'm late, but get ready. We're really going to celebrate tonight.
What are we celebrating?
Well, didn't you read the papers? Santa's mouthpiece throws bombshell in New York Supreme Court.
Oh, Fred, you're not really serious about this. You can't possibly prove that Kris Kringle is Santa Claus.
Well, you saw Mr. Macy and Mr. Gimble shake hands. That wasn't possible either.
What does your firm have to say about it? Hayslip and Mackenzie and the rest of them.
That I've jeopardized their prestige, and either I drop this impossible case or they'll drop me.
You see?
So I beat them to it. I quit.
Fred, you threw away a career because of a sentimental whim?
Well, I'll open my own office.
And what kind of clients will you get?
Oh, probably a lot of people like Chris who are being pushed around. That's the only fun in law anyway. Doris, look. Don't you have any faith in me at all?
No, it's not a question of faith. It's just common sense.
But faith is believing in things when common sense tells you not to. It's not just Chris that's on trial. It's everything he stands for. Human kindness and love and dignity.
Fred, listen. We've seen a lot of each other the last couple of weeks. I've become fond of you. We've talked about some wonderful plans, haven't we? And then you do this. Go on an idealistic binge, throw away your security, and expect me to be happy about it.
And I expect too much. Is that it? Well, that's that, I guess. Good night, Doris.
Hello. Yes, this is Mr. Mara. Well, can't it wait till tomorrow? I'm eating dinner. Who's been subpoenaed? Well, how do you think I feel about it? I'll see you tomorrow.
Who's that, dear?
R.H. Macy's been subpoenaed.
Oh, my.
Those reporters. They make me look like a sadistic monster who likes nothing better than to drown pussycats and tear wings off butterflies.
Quiet, dear. Tommy's still awake.
Oh, yeah.
It'd just break his heart if he knew what his daddy is doing.
I'm doing my job as assistant district attorney.
Well, I'm not so sure, but that I agree with them. Mr. Kringle looks like a very nice old man, and I don't see why you have to keep persecuting him.
I'm not persecuting him. I'm prosecuting him. I like the old man, too, but there's nothing I can do about it.
You know something, Thomas? Sometimes I wish I'd married a butcher or a plumber.
Well, if I lose this case, it's very possible you'll get your wish. R.H. Macy, I wonder what he's going to pull tomorrow.
Proceed with the witness, Mr. Gailey.
Now then, Mr. Macy, if you recognize the defendant, please tell us who he is.
Why, Kris Kringle, of course.
Do you believe him to be of sound mind?
Sound mind? I wish I had a dozen like him.
Mr. Macy, you are under oath. Do you believe that man is Santa Claus?
Well, now, that's a rather delicate...
Just think of those headlines tomorrow. Macy admits his Santa Claus is fraud.
You keep out of this, Gimble.
What did you say?
Nothing, Mr. Barr. Nothing.
Well, I wish you would. Is that man Santa Claus?
Yes, in my opinion, he most certainly is.
Your Honor, there is no such person as Santa Claus, and everybody knows it.
Can you prove there isn't any?
I won't even try. I'll not waste the court's time with such childish nonsense. Your Honor, the prosecution requests an immediate ruling from this court. Is there or is there not a Santa Claus?
Well, now, the court will take a short recess to consider the question.
Hello, Henry.
Why, Charlie, what are you doing here?
Can't an old friend visit you in your chambers? And if you ask me, you never needed a friend like you do now.
This Kringle case? Well, I certainly don't see what they're making such a fuss about.
Henry, that's Santa Claus you've got out there. On trial for lunacy. This case is dynamite. And you're coming up for re-election soon.
Charlie, you know what happened last night? Martha brought the grandchildren over. They wouldn't kiss Grandpa. They wouldn't even talk to me.
You see what I mean? If you rule there is no Santa Claus, you better start looking for that chicken farm right now.
I'm a responsible judge. How can I seriously rule that there is a Santa Claus?
Because of what happens if you don't. The kids read about it and they don't hang up their stockings. Now what happens to all the toys that are supposed to be in those stockings? Nobody buys them. The toy manufacturers have to lay off employees. By now you've got the AFL and the CIO against you. Yes, and they're going to say it with votes, see? Oh, and the department stores are going to love you, too. Yes, sir, Henry. And what about the Salvation Army? They got a Santa Claus on every street corner. They take in a lot of money to help the poor. But go ahead, Henry. You go in there and rule there isn't any Santa Claus. But if you do, you can count on getting just 2 votes, your own and that district attorney's out there.
1 vote, Charlie. He's a Republican. Oh, well, let's get this over with. The question of Santa Claus seems to be largely a matter of opinion. The tradition of American justice demands a broad and unprejudiced view of such a controversial matter.
But, Your Honor...
This court, therefore, intends to keep its mind open. We shall ask for evidence on either side.
But the burden of proof clearly rests with my opponent. Can he produce any evidence to support his views?
If Your Honor please, I can. Will Thomas Mara please take the stand?
Who, me?
No. Thomas Mara, Jr. I believe he and his mother are both in court today.
Hi, Papa.
Hi. Tommy, do you believe in Santa Claus?
I sure do. Gosh, he gave me a brand new sled last year.
Now, what does Santa Claus look like, Tommy?
Well, there he is, sitting right over there.
Your Honor, I protest. Overruled.
Tell me, Tommy, why are you so sure there's a Santa Claus?
Because my papa told me so, didn't you, Papa?
Thank you, Tommy. You can go back to your mother now.
See you later, Papa.
You certainly will. Your Honor.
Don't forget, Santa Claus, this year I want a football helmet.
Don't worry, Tommy. You will get it.
Mr. Kringle, if you don't mind.
I'm sorry, sir.
Your Honor, the state of New York concedes the existence of a Santa Claus. But in so conceding, we demand that Mr. Gailey stop representing and presenting personal opinion as evidence. I insist he submit authoritative proof that Mr. Kringle here is the one and only Santa Claus.
Well, Mr. Gailey, are you prepared to show that Mr. Kringle is Santa Claus on the basis of unprejudiced authority?
Well, sir, no, not now. I need a little time.
Why not now?
Tomorrow, Your Honor.
Very well. Court's adjourned till tomorrow morning.
Whew. Oh, brother.
Now come, Susan, dear, finish your supper.
But I can't, Mother. All those things they're saying in the newspapers about Mr. Kringle and Mr. Gailey.
They're having this trial because he says he's Santa Claus.
He's so kind and nice and jolly. He's not like anyone else I know. He must be Santa.
You know something? I think perhaps you're right.
Is Mr. Kringle sad now, Mother?
I'm afraid he must be.
Then I'll write him a letter. Maybe that'll make him feel better. I'll cheer him up.
Oh, postman.
Yeah, lady?
Would you mind taking this letter?
Oh, sure, lady. We're going straight down to the post office now. Okay, Louie, take it away. Well, what do you know, Louie? Another letter for Santa Claus. Hey, here's a new one. Instead of the North Pole, this kid's got it addressed to Kris Kringle, New York County Courthouse.
Well, the kid's right.
Huh? Oh, yeah, sure. They got him on trial down there. He claims he's Santa Claus, and the DA claims he's nuts.
Hey, I got an idea.
Huh?
How many Santa Claus letters we got down there in the dead letter office?
Oh, who knows? Must be 50,000 bags and bags all over the joint. You mean?
But, Frankie, why not? Wouldn't it be nice to get rid of them all? Wouldn't it?
Boy, oh, boy. Look, Louie, as soon as we get to the post office, we go and see the supervisor. You know something? I bet we both get promoted.
And since the defense has been unable to submit one shred of proof that Kris Kringle is the one and only Santa Claus, and since tonight is Christmas Eve, I ask Your Honor that this hearing be terminated without further delay.
I protest. I do have evidence.
5 minutes ago, you said you didn't.
During Mr. Mara's oration, the bailiff handed my client the evidence I refer to.
What evidence?
This letter, Your Honor.
Oh, yes, Mr. Kringle?
It's from Susan Walker. She believes in me. Oh, this letter means more to me than anything in the world.
That letter, Your Honor, was delivered by the United States Post Office, an official agency of the federal government. The Post Office Department was one of the largest business concerns in the world. Last year did a gross volume of over $1 billion, and
Your
this year...
Honor, I'm sure we're all gratified that the Post Office is getting along so well. But what bearing has it on the sanity of that man?
My point is that the Post Office Department is a model of efficiency. Furthermore, the laws of this country make it a criminal offense to willfully misdirect mail or intentionally deliver it to the wrong party.
The state of New York is second to none in its admiration of the Post Office Department. We're very happy to concede Mr. Galis.
For the record, Mr. Mara.
For the record. Anything to get on with this case.
Thank you. Your Honor, that letter just received by Mr. Kringle is positive proof that a competent...
One letter is hardly positive proof.
I have further exhibits, Your Honor, but I hesitate to produce them.
Come, Mr. Gailey. Put them here on my desk.
But, Your Honor, I don't...
said put them on my desk.
All right, boys, bring them in.
Your Honor, what is this?
Empty those mail sacks on Judge Harper's desk. But bring them all in or be fined for contempt of court.
No, just a second here.
We'll do it, Your Honor, through rain, through sleet, through courtrooms, anything. We deliver.
Mr. Gailey.
Your Honor, every one of those letters and every one of those mail sacks is addressed to Santa Claus. The post office is to deliver them. Therefore, the Post Office Department recognizes Kris Kringle to be the one and only Santa Claus.
Since the United States government declares this man to be Santa Claus, this court will not dispute it. Case dismissed. And for heaven's sake, get this mail out of my courtroom.
So as soon as I got out of court, I came straight to Macy's to see you, Doris.
Oh, Chris, I'm so glad you won.
Well, we're having a big Christmas party at the Brooks home tomorrow morning. I'd like so much to see you and Susan there.
We'll be there, Chris. Oh, Chris, couldn't you come home now and have dinner with us?
Now? Tonight? Me? My goodness, Doris, it's Christmas Eve. Alfred, look who came all the way out here to the home, just for our Christmas party.
Chris, it's Mr. Macy.
Mr. Gimble, too. Oh, excuse me, Alfred. Mrs. Walker and Susan have to leave now, and I want to see them before they go, so forgive me, will you?
But, Susie, darling, you've got so many presents.
Not the one I wanted. Not the one Mr. Kringle was going to get for me.
Well, what was it?
Doesn't matter. I knew I wouldn't get him, but I thought he'd at least tell me why.
Susie. I'm sorry, Susie. I tried my best, but...
You couldn't get it because you're not Santa Claus.
Susan.
Just a nice old man like Mother said.
But I was wrong when I told you that. You must believe in Mr. Kringle and keep right on doing it. You must have faith in him.
But that doesn't make sense, Mother.
Faith is believing in things when common sense tells you not to.
What?
I mean, just because things don't turn out the way you want them to the first time, you've still got to believe in people. I found that...
Hello, Doris.
Fred.
Mr. Gailey.
Merry Christmas, Susie.
Gosh. You'll just get here and we're ready to leave.
Oh, I've been here. Oh. And if you're ready to leave, I'll drive you home.
Before you go, here's a map I've made for you. You'll miss a lot of traffic. About 4 miles south, you will see Ashley Avenue. Now, that's the street you want. Ashley Avenue.
Thanks, Chris. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, Fred. And to you, my dear. And to you, Susie.
I believe Mr. Kringle. I do. Silly, I suppose. But I do.
I don't understand it, Fred. The map Chris gave definitely says Ashley Avenue. We've been on Ashley Avenue now for...
Stop the car, please!
Susie, what is it, darling? What's the matter?
There it is! The house!
Susie!
What in the world?
She's running into that house.
But at least there's no one home. It's brand new. It's just been built.
Yeah, for sale, it says. For sale.
What on earth is that child up to?
Susie! Hey, Susie!
Here I am, upstairs.
Now come right down. You know you shouldn't run around in other people's houses. That's strange.
I'll say.
No. I mean this house. I've seen this house somewhere. I know I have. Maybe in a magazine or...
Mother, it's our house. It's the one I asked him for, Mr. Kringle.
Mr. Kringle?
I know it is. Oh, you were right, Mommy. You were right.
Susie.
Mommy told me that if things didn't turn out just the way you wanted them at first, you've still got to believe, and I kept believing. And you were right, Mommy. Mr. Kringle is Santa Claus.
Now where are you going?
In back to see if there's a swing. There is one. Oh, there is one.
You told her that? About believing?
Well, you told me, Fred.
A sign outside. For sale, huh? Well, we can't let her down, can we?
I never really doubted you. It was just my silly common sense.
It even makes sense to believe in me now. I must be a pretty good lawyer. I take a little old man and legally prove to the world that he's Santa Claus. Now, you know that couldn't be.
Fred!
What's the matter?
There. In the corner. By the fireplace.
Oh, no. No.
It can't be. It couldn't.
A cane. Chris's cane. Well, there couldn't be two canes like this anywhere in the world.
Silver handle and all.
Hey, you know something? Maybe I didn't do such a wonderful thing after all.
Before our stars return for their curtain calls, Libby Collins wants to tell you about the wonderful way to decorate your Christmas tree, as we promised at the opening of the show.
You can give your tree that fresh from the woods look by covering it with real-looking snow you make yourself from a box of Lux Flakes.
So many people have asked for the Lux recipe for Christmas snow that we gave last week. We'll repeat it tonight. Listen carefully.
Take a large box of Lux Flakes. Gradually add 2 cups of lukewarm water and beat with an egg beater until it has the consistency of thick whipped cream. Then, with your fingers, spread the mixture over the branches of your tree. And that's all.
This snowy covering dries quickly, it won't melt, and lasts as long as the tree. Ask your dealer for a copy of this Christmas snow recipe.
I don't know of any other decoration that costs so little, yet does so much for your tree. It looks lovely used just with tree lights, or you can add your usual ornaments if you prefer.
Try it on your mantel decorations and table arrangements, too. It gives them a very professional look.
And makes the whole house look more Christmassy. Now, I'll repeat that recipe. Take a large box of Lux Flakes. Gradually add about 2 cups of lukewarm water and beat with an egg beater. While moist, spread the mixture along the branches. If you want extra glitter, shake on some shiny artificial snow before the mixture dries. Let the children help. They'll love doing it and love the snowy tree.
Back now to our producer, William Keeley.
Mr. Kringle's reindeer are waiting on the roof, but we've asked him to pause a moment before he leaves and come back to the footlights with Maureen O'Hara and John Payne. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a real thrill to everyone in Hollywood when Edmund Gwenn topped his entire 53 years as an actor with his great performance as Kris Kringle.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Bill. Everyone connected with Miracle on 34th Street, from George Seaton, the author-director, to the prop man, helped me. They all believed in Santa Claus.
How could we help it?
I suppose you've got a strenuous time ahead, Chris.
Yeah?
Covering the entire world in one night.
John, if everyone believed in Santa Claus, peace would break out all over the world in 30 seconds.
I hope you won't be too busy to stop at my house. I'll have my stockings hung up.
Oh, well, I'll stop in, Maureen, but seems rather futile.
Why, Chris?
Well, I couldn't possibly fill her stocking as well as she does.
I see what you mean.
Bill, after that, I think you'd better tell us all about next week's play.
Next week, Maureen, a play straight from your native land. It's the 20th Century Fox picture, The Luck of the Irish. And the stars? Well, we have a superb cast. There's Dana Andrews, Ann Baxter, and Cecil Calloway. This is a delightful romance, presided over by a most mysterious leprechaun in the person of Cecil Calloway. I know you'll all enjoy it.
We'll be looking forward to it, Bill. And good night.
Good night.
Good night. Can I give anybody a lift in my sleigh?
Good night and a Merry, Merry Christmas. Before we meet again in this theater, the most joyful day in the year will have come and gone. There are, in our time, as in every time, a few foolish men who deride the spirit of Christmas. But in every country and in every time, they are overwhelmed by those who find in it the hope and happiness of the future. By those of us who believe in our hearts that there can be peace on this earth and goodwill among all men. On behalf of Lever Brothers Company and of us in the Lux Radio Theater, may I wish all of you the happiest of holidays.
All right, welcome back to Yesterday Today. It's the end of the show. It's been a merry festive time today. We got our wallets back.
It has been a horrible, miserable time, Jake.
This is true. I was kind of expecting the nice, peaceful, comfortable, cozy Christmas episode today, but we ended up digging for our wallets in the woods. So, yeah, but on the bright side, Sydney's day was made because he thinks he met Santa, so he's got that going for him. We're back in the studio now, by the way, and Willie and Billy are still hanging around. Don't you guys have somewhere better to be?
Don't you guys have to be in Ecuador or wherever?
Not quite. I mean, as long as we get the old identities changed, we should be able to dodge them extradition forces pretty easy. Don't you think so, Billy?
Yeah, plus I'm trying to convince Sydney that Santa's been having a little trouble, so he needs some monetary donations as well, and I think I'm making some good progress.
The man lives in a tree. I don't think you're going to get a lot of money out of him.
Allow me to double check that I actually got my identity back in my wallet here.
So I've got a few entrepreneurial ventures I've been thinking of breaking into. You mind if we use the last few minutes of the show for me to check with the audience and see which ones they'd be interested in investing in?
I would mind deeply.
Dear Lord, please do not.
Perfect. All right, folks, listen up. Now, this is your old pal, Slick Willie here. Listen.
Santa. Slick Willie.
Santa, yeah, it is Slick Santa. So listen, the next thing I want to do, I kind of want your opinion on. I got 3 different paths I could take here. I want to know which one really speaks to y'all out there in Radio Land. Tell me, should I get into sponsoring water births, raising cage-free Brussels sprouts, or launching a program to pay for female inmates to take programming classes in Fortran? Write into the show, call in, send your letters. Let me know which one of them speaks to you the most here.
All right, folks, this has been Yesterday Today. Please, for the love of all that is good, do not listen to any of this. Bad, just bad all around. We'll see you next week with another Christmas episode. And in the meantime, have a festive season.
Postcard,
I guess.
Hey,
cash
Pops,
donations.
Can you send me the link to that cage-free Brussels sprouts idea? I think there's something in there.
Yeah, there we go. There's a fan already. See? Yeah, free the Brussels sprouts.
I've always felt that my Brussels sprouts have tasted caged.
They taste captive, don't they? You know, you can tell when they haven't had the chance to roam free and live amongst each other.